For the first time since Oregon joined the Big Ten before last season, the Hoosiers and Ducks meet on the gridiron. Hello, everybody, and welcome into WIUX's coverage of Indiana and Oregon here at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Ben Howler alongside Nick Rodecap for a game that has potential to be one of the biggest in Indiana football's program history. But it's been a couple of years since Oregon joined the Big Ten. This is a matchup that I don't think people expected to be one of those marquee spots in Oregon's first couple of years here. We talked about what it means for Indiana, but it also means that for Oregon.
Absolutely, Ben. It's a thrill to be with you here at Autzen. This is one of the toughest places to play in all of college football, and I think we kind of knew going into the season, Oregon, number one seed in the college football playoff, Big Ten champion in its first year in the conference. You knew the Ducks were going to reload, and they were going to be in the upper echelon of college football. I don't think anybody expected Indiana to also be in the top 10 and have a chance to end Oregon's 23-game regular season win streak. Of course, Ohio State walloped them in the Rose Bowl last year. But as far as the regular season goes, Oregon has not lost in a very, very long time. And it is a thrilling matchup we have in store today. Two potential Heisman Trophy candidates at quarterback for their respective teams. Two of the best coaches in all of college football. Oregon's mascot Puddles being introduced like Michael Jackson. I'll tell you what, the spectacle here in Eugene, the tradition surrounding Oregon football, and what Dan Lanning has been able to do at this program in such a short amount of time is incredible, and I am excited for this clash of potential Big Ten Titans here this afternoon.
Nick, there's a lot on the line. We talked a little bit about the Heisman potentials with both Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza. Two quarterbacks that I don't know if were in the Heisman conversation before week one with the preseason. Two guys that definitely surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, these two quarterbacks faced off against each other in the final year of the Pac-12. Cal visited UCLA. Cal won 33-7, although Mendoza at Cal, Dante Moore at UCLA, neither one of them played particularly well in that game. They were both true freshmen starting for their respective teams, and it showed. It showed. They were incredibly raw. Both have since transferred. They've both come a long way. And Dante Moore, for my money, he and Fernando Mendoza are going to go head-to-head to be potentially the top quarterback prospect in this upcoming NFL draft class. These are two of the best signal callers in the country. They both burst onto the scene, too. Mendoza struggled behind a very poor offensive line last year at Cal. Dante Moore sat out behind Dylan Gabriel here in Eugene, and it looks like it's paid huge dividends for him this year.
Not just the Heisman potentials on the line, but there's also some Big Ten implications, some college football playoff implications. You start to think whoever wins this game's got a seat next to Ohio State and a two-headed lead for that Big Ten conference and a chance at a bye in the college football playoff.
Absolutely, and I think if you're an Indiana fan, you're probably thanking your lucky stars that Indiana does not play Ohio State this year, because the Buckeyes look like they have also picked up right where they left off. And it is very possible that the winner of this game goes on to face Ohio State in Indianapolis in December to play for the Big Ten championship. But I'll tell you what, Ben, Indiana has to kind of get the monkey off its back. The Hoosiers in big-ticket road environments against really good teams struggled mightily last year against Ohio State and Notre Dame, respectively. Now, as we would come to find out, those were the two best teams in the country at the end of the season. It's very possible that we could see Oregon playing for a national championship when the dust settles in a few months' time. But if you're Indiana, this is another opportunity to get what would be a program-defining win. I was talking about it off the air. This is not the biggest game in IU football history. I think that goes to the Notre Dame playoff game last year. But this could be the biggest win in IU football history if Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers can find a way to get things done.
Let's get to what to expect from both teams. We'll start with Oregon. I think a lot of their money is made on the offensive side of the ball, but we'll start defensively. They're a team that, we talked about it off air as well, maybe hasn't had a ton of challenges when it comes to the defensive side, but that secondary has been spectacular. Out of their 5 starting secondary members listed on that depth chart, 3 of them are either true or redshirt freshmen.
They are incredibly young. It's an entirely new unit. They lost all of their starters in that secondary from last year. And defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy, who was with Dan Lanning when the two of them were at Alabama, well, he said, you know what, we're going to reload and we're going to pick up right where we've left off. This is a secondary that has allowed, and this is a real figure, 123 passing yards per game. Drew Aller, Penn State's quarterback, threw for less than 150 yards as Indiana is running out onto the field to a chorus of boos. They've intercepted 5 passes this year. That's top 5 in the Big Ten. And these corners, Brandon Finney Jr., he is allowing the lowest completion percentage of any defensive back in the country, 18.4%. Ife Obadegu, another freshman, Aaron Flowers at the safety position, and then the veterans, Theron Johnson at cornerback, and a name that Indiana fans might know, Dylan Thiedemann, who of course transferred over from Purdue and had the game-sealing interception against Penn State in Happy Valley.
Now for Indiana, the criticisms in the Curt Cignetti era when it comes to big games and big environments has been, maybe the lack of aggressiveness on the offensive side of the ball. We saw it a little bit in a win at Iowa thanks to a game-winning touchdown led by Fernando Mendoza on a 45-yard screen pass, or slant pass, I should say, to Elijah Surratt. Look, in those games, at least in that Iowa game, though, when the offense has come and go, defense has been great, and that's exactly what you saw in that Iowa game, even with the lack of production numbers from who you thought might lead the defense, Mikhail Kamara, this year. The numbers just aren't there for him, just 8 total tackles in the first 5 games, but that's really led ways for other guys in the front 7 to have a really good start to the season. Tyreek Tucker with 17 total tackles already. He's got 3 sacks to go with Isaiah Jones, who's done a great job pass rushing.
Isaiah Jones might be an X factor for Indiana in this game, Ben. And when you think of Indiana's linebackers, you think, of course, of Aiden Fisher and maybe Elijah Hardy as well. But Isaiah Jones is a guy who is experienced, he's a veteran, he's savvy, and he flies around the field. We saw it at Iowa. He was huge in that game for Indiana, and really he's been huge throughout the season. It feels like he's always in the right place at the right time, flying around sideline to sideline. And, of course, we've got to touch on the elephant in the room. Here comes Oregon onto the field. The duck is, of course, on a motorcycle. I tell you what, they absolutely nail this atmosphere. Yeah. But for Indiana, the Hoosiers were without D'Angelo Ponce, the All-American cornerback. He did not play against Iowa. He is good to go today. No surprises for Indiana on the injury report. And getting Ponce back for this game, I think, will be absolutely huge because Oregon has some fantastic weapons in that wide receiver room.
2 coaches that come from the Nick Saban tree. It feels like every college football coach in the top 25 does. But it's Curt Cignetti, Dan Lanning coming up. Kickoff for IU and Oregon in just a few minutes. We'll take a quick break, have kickoff here on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Go Ducks chants booming through Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, and maybe some other chants that we won't get to as well. But it's a yellow out from Autzen. There is not a single open seat in this 54,000-seat capacity stadium. That's awaited one of Oregon's biggest matchups of the season, and it comes against the number 7 Indiana Hoosiers, who won the coin toss. They will defer and kick away, so we will see Oregon's offense first. They will go right to left on your radio dial, and we'll get a first look at Dante Moore. Once again, appreciate everyone joining us for this 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time kick of the top 10 matchup. Ben Haller alongside Nick Rodecap for you on WIUX. As always, it's Brendan Frankie to kick away for Indiana, the kickoff specialist. And the back deep for Oregon, Jaden Lamar, as well as Jordan Davison, 2 of the many running backs that we might see in the game for Oregon today.
Tell you what, Ben, this place is already rocking. They call it one of the loudest stadiums in the country, and it's early, but I think you can tell why.
Frankie back to kick, ball spotted on that 35-yard line of the middle of the field. Frankie points at his sideline, official arm goes down, and we are underway. Right foot goes through that ball, and that will go through the back of the end zone. So here is that Oregon offense. Will get their drive started from the 25. Dante Moore is 75% passing completion percentage so far this year, over 1,200 yards. We'll see this from both quarterbacks, but the astounding number, the 14 touchdowns to just 1 interception.
Extremely efficient, smart with the ball. Curt Cignetti, very complimentary of how Dante Moore extends plays with his legs. He's on time, and if he has a clean pocket and he's in rhythm, Ben, this Indiana secondary could be in for a very long afternoon.
First and 10 coming up for Oregon. They'll immediately go with look like a stack formation still. They'll go twins out to the near side, and a running back now in motion. It's a pistol formation for Dante Moore. Running back to his back is Jaden Lamar. He takes the snap, fakes a handoff, look back to pass. Got a lot of time, eventually rushed and brought down to the backfield. Mario Landino gets the start for Kurt Signetti. Kellen Wyatt there as well. And the first play is about a 6 or 7 yard sack for Indiana. And a second at about 17 coming up for Oregon.
Well, Ben, we just talked about Dante Moore's legs, but there Indiana did a great job staying in its rushing lanes, making sure he could not escape the pocket.
Stack formation on the far side for a 2nd and 17 for Oregon. A wide receiver comes in motion. He'll take the snap, handoff up the middle to Lamar. He's stacked up a couple yards after the line of scrimmage. Powers forward all the way to the original line up to the 25. So a gain of about 6. That was Noah Whittington, rather, the running back. We'll give him 6 on it, so we'll call it 3rd and 11 coming up. That sack playing huge. Indiana trying to get a 3 and out in the first drive of this game.
You see Oregon spread the field. They'll do this. The wide receivers will go to and outside the numbers on both sides.
Trips to the far side, twins to the near side, so an empty backfield for Dante Moore on 3rd and 11 from the 24 of the middle of the field. Indiana spreads out to match. Elijah Hardy looking to blitz. It's a quick screen pass out to the right. Caught out the 25 and bouncing around a defender. Getting up past the first down marker and pushed out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Gary Bryant Jr. caught the screen pass, eventually pushed out of bounds by Amari Farrell. So that 3rd and 11 comes up big. And after the sack, Oregon able to get it back.
And a good block there on that screen pass from Noah Whittington. Usually you'll see Jordan Davison in those 3rd down situations where you need a more powerful running back, but Whittington, the veteran transfer from Western Kentucky, did a great job giving Gary Bryant Jr. a running lane.
Whittington still the running back in the backfield for this 1st and 10. He'll be on the left hip of Dante Moore. Wide receivers go to bunch formation on the near side, and now Gary Bryant Jr. coming in motion to make it twins to the far side. Snap back. He's going to hand it off to the right side, bouncing it off tackle, and a lot of room up to the 42-yard line near the first down marker. Whittington stacked up by Isaiah Jones. They give him about 6 on the carry, so 2nd and 4 from the 42.
And early here, Ben, you're seeing Oregon go quickly, trying to keep Indiana's defense on its heels.
No huddle for the Ducks. Twins to both sides, their first drive of this ball game. 12:44 to play the first quarter, no score. Whittington still the running back on the right hip of Moore, who takes a snap, drops back to pass, collapses in the pocket, dumped down to his running back, who's bouncing around to the 46. Stopped before the first down markers. This is going to be a 3rd and short. It was really close. He tried to bounce it around Aiden Fisher.
Kind of puzzling there by Whittington because he had the first down and then he tried to reverse field and ended up actually losing yardage. So another chance here for Indiana's defense to get off the field or force a difficult 4th down conversion for Dan Lanning.
3rd and about 1.5. We'll call it 3rd and 2 from Oregon's 45-yard line. They're now at the near side hash. Just 2 receivers in this game, a 2 tight end set off the right side of Dante Moore. Bryant Jr. coming in motion left to right again. It's a snap to the running back, and he's going to take it himself to the first down marker. It'll be close, and I don't know about this one. They're going to call it a 4th down. Little trickeration for Oregon. The snap did not go back to their quarterback, Dante Moore. Instead, it went to who I believe was Jay Harris, who is the 3rd running back that Oregon's used on this first drive. They're going to do that a lot. This is a 4th and inches, and Dan Lanning's going to go for it.
This is what they did against Penn State. They went for it 7 times, the most in any game under Lanning. You see the same aggression here early.
It's a 4th and inches from Oregon's own 46-yard line. Dante Moore under center, 2 running backs behind him. Man coming in motion right on the back of Moore, who takes a step. He will drop back to hand it off, and he's stuffed at the line. He's short. Indiana turns over Oregon on downs on Oregon's side of the field.
And, Ben, that is exactly what Indiana would have wanted, coming into Autzen Stadium, a hostile environment, and finding a way to keep the crowd from getting energized. The Hoosiers won at the point of attack right there, and, Ben, we talked about it throughout the week, Oregon's size in the trenches, but right there, Indiana doing a phenomenal job. Defensive coordinator Brian Haynes has to be pleased with that defensive stand by Indiana. Oregon did not even cross midfield.
Wow. I was going to mention maybe it being 4-down territory, but that's one drive through, 11 minutes, 9 seconds to play in the first quarter. No score. Oregon's first drive, they turn it over on downs. A couple of Hoosiers were in there. Mario Landino was in there again. Indiana brought the heavy package with Elijah Hardy to go 3 linebackers alongside Isaiah Jones and Aiden Fisher. Had an extra defensive lineman, and it was Jordan Davison, who was the 4th running back of that first drive for Oregon. He's used as that 4th, 3rd and short, also the goal line guy. He doesn't have a ton of carries, just 21 on the year, but he's got a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, Davison, he's the power back. He's the one you were kind of expecting in that short yardage situation. It's almost like a goal line package if you're Oregon, but somehow Indiana able to contain that rush. Oregon uses a lot of funky looks pre-snap on offense, and Indiana was not phased right there. So now if you're Fernando Mendoza, this is your chance to then compound that kind of lack of energy in this stadium. If you can lead a touchdown drive on this short field, you're only going to have to go about 46 yards. Mendoza has played in Autzen before, and it did not go well. That was, I believe, 2 years ago.
Yes.
When he was in his redshirt freshman year at Cal, and Oregon handled the Golden Bears convincingly.
Well, let's recap that drive. 7 plays for just 21 yards. They turn it over on downs. They got the 1 first down. It started on a good note for Indiana after they got a 1st and 10 sack of Dante Moore, but screen pass out to Gary Bryant Jr. gave him a first down. They could not pick up another first down after that. So the Indiana offense comes out onto the field, and do remember when you talk about the big games and big environments for Indiana in the Cignetti era, there's 3 that come to mind. It's the Ohio State, the Notre Dame last year, and then the Iowa game this year. That Ohio State game and the Iowa game this year both started on a really good note on the defensive side of things.
Absolutely, and you think back to Iowa 2 plays in, it was an interception, and Indiana scored a couple plays later, getting Omar Cooper the ball in space, I think, was the name of the game in that short field situation at Iowa. But here in Oregon, you're backed up. I'm not going to say you're backed up. You're on the plus side of the 50, but this Oregon defense, just as physical as Iowa. The edge rusher, Mateo Uyunglele, if you've got it synced up to the TV, he's number 10 in black, lining up on the far side as we look at the field. Indiana taking the field, and this place is going to get loud. I'm interested to see how Indiana handles it pre-snap in one of the loudest environments in college football.
It was Oregon who went into another one of the loudest environments of football just a couple of weeks ago. They went to Penn State and got a win, and it is a tough place to play at in State College. But so is Eugene, and here comes the Indiana offense. Indiana wearing those all-white uniforms, white tops with the white pants and the red helmets. They get their drive started on the near side from Oregon's 47-yard line. Fernando Mendoza in the shotgun formation. Takes the snap, fakes a handoff. He'll look to throw out right. Got a man deep, and it's caught. Elijah Surratt at the 24-yard line and forced out of bounds at the 22. A first down and a gain of 21 yards. Theron Johnson pushed him out, but a great first play for Indiana's offense.
Ben, we talked about it after Iowa. It felt like Mendoza was not being allowed to sling it down the field. Get these receivers in space and try to pick on the DBs in single coverage. That's exactly what Indiana does, and they're off and running at the 22.
1st and 10, ball now on the far side hash at the 22. Twins to the left, 1 receiver out right. There's a tight end out right. Hemby on the right hip of Mendoza, who takes a snap, fakes a handoff again. 5-step drop back, now forced out. He is going to throw it away. Threw it out of bounds to the sea of yellow right next to the end zone. At a 2nd and 10 coming up, Jerry Mixon was one in, forced him out of the pocket.
Wise decision there by Mendoza. We saw him try to force a pass back across the middle against Iowa. It led to an interception, his only pick of the year. There, he saw nothing. Everybody was covered, so he got rid of it.
Here is the 2nd and 10 for Mendoza. Bunch formation to the near side. Roman Hemby on the left hip. They'll motion. 2 guys go near side, far side. 1 guy comes to the right. Hemby on the right hip now of Mendoza. Takes the snap. It is a handoff this time. Powering it inside. Nowhere to go. Will fall forward after being hit at the 20 up to the 19. So a gain of 3. And a 3rd and 7 for Indiana. Tion Gray was the nose tackle right there. And this place is getting loud for the 3rd and 7.
Looks like Indiana's got 2 tight ends in the game. Well, Charlie Becker kind of a tight end wide receiver hybrid, but Riley Nowakowski in there as well. 3rd and long for Indiana. I mean, you've got to be able to handle these kinds of situations.
3rd and 7. They're in the red zone. It is Oregon's 19 on the far side hash. Twins to both sides. Hemby on the left hip of Mendoza. Snap back. He'll look left. Quick throw out to the sideline to Surratt. Incomplete. Broken up on the play by Brandon Finney. Surratt wanted a flag. He didn't get it. It was really good coverage.
Yeah, a lot of hand fighting there between Surratt and his defender. Clear Mendoza trying to go to his first option, but it just wasn't open. And now Nico Radicic on for what looks like about a 37-yarder. He handled Iowa really well. Here's his first test this afternoon.
had his career long at Iowa. That was 43 yards into the Kinnick Stadium crowd. Now we'll have to do it to the Autzen crowd to give Indiana their first lead of the game with the first points. 9:46 to play in the first quarter. And there's a flag. I think Indiana jumped. Everybody on Oregon's defense got up, was pointing at Indiana, and Curt Cignetti is furious on the Indiana sideline. This is going to make it a little bit tougher for Nico Radicic.
You think back to Ohio State last year. Indiana special teams got off to a rocky start with a fumbled snap on a punt. And here a false start, clear that Indiana could not handle the noise there pre-snap. Now you back Radicic up, and this is a 42-yarder, still within his range, but a tough angle coming off the left hash.
Austin Liebfried is the one who got the false start. He is pulled from this game. So ball is at the 25-yard line, makes it a 42-yard kick. Mitch McCarthy, the holder, on the far side hash. Mark Langston snap, holds good. It's a short kick. It does have enough, and it just snuck through. Indiana takes a 3-0 lead on a 42-yard field goal from Nico Radicic. 3-0 Hoosiers. 5 minutes and 18 seconds into this game. Media timeout. We'll take one with them. Indiana on top on WIUX. One drive each. Indiana turned Oregon over on downs, got the ball in plus territory, and they kicked a 42-yard field goal to take a 3-0 lead over the Oregon Ducks in a top 10 matchup. Number 7 Indiana against number 3 Oregon from Eugene. That'll be Brandon Franke to kick it off already for the second time today. And back for Oregon once again, Jaden Lamar and Jordan Davison. Kick is away. It's up. First one went through the back of the end zone. Second one as well. That's the story we get a lot from Franke. So, again, Oregon will get their drive started from their own 25-yard line. The second time Indiana comes out there, they held Oregon to just 3 yards per play. And we will get the first look at De'Aaron Hill, the running back for Oregon, as well as Jordan Davis in a two-back set. You think Hill is the best running back on this Oregon team? He's
got explosive speed, and he leads this team 10.4 yards per carry. But this is an Indiana defense that's only giving up 88 rushing yards per game. That's top third in the Big Ten. So a big test for this Oregon offensive line today.
Hoosiers by a field goal, 9:42 to play. First and 10 for Oregon, two-back set. Hill is behind Moore, and on the left hip is Davis, and he takes the snap, hands it off to Lamar, and he is stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. Mikhail Kamara, the near side defensive end, brought him down right at the line. Mario Landino in there as well. And they were going to say no gain, no loss, 2nd and 10. Now move to the near side hash.
I'm not a rocket scientist, Ben, but running right at Mikhail Kamara does not seem like a good idea. Kamara's numbers are not eye-popping, but his presence alone has been a game changer for Indiana's defense this season.
The 2nd and 10. They go twins to the far side, one receiver to the near side, and running back on the left hip. Moore takes the snap. He's going to look to throw to the right side. Instead, goes to a dump off to Jordan Davison, who catches it at the 25-yard line and pushed it out of bounds at the 26. So only a gain of about a few yards. We'll give him one, and another 3rd and long coming up for Oregon. I think they might just say 3rd and 10 again.
They gave him no gain, and you know, Ben, we talked about Indiana being conservative, but Oregon has been really conservative in these play calls early.
3rd and 10, their second 3rd along already. It was originally trips to the far side. Now one man comes in motion, twins to both sides, a no tight end set with Jordan Davison on the left hip of Moore. Shouting something out to his offensive line, ball at the near side hash. Davison goes from the left hip to the right hip. Chest high snap. He's going to take a 7-step drop back to throw right at the first down marker. Incomplete. D'Angelo Pons in coverage with Lewis Moore, and the throw tried to lead the receiver to the sideline. It was DeCorian Moore.
Dante Moore there throwing near the boundary. A lot of contact. The Oregon fans wanted a flag. I think they were looking for Malik Benson, the Florida State transfer. He's one of their deep ball threats, but Oregon's offense strangely stagnant, but that's not too dissimilar to what happened at the start of the Penn State game.
So Oregon will have to punt. It's their first time punting today because of the 3-and-out before, but a 3-and-out and a really good punt and a booming one all the way to Jonathan Brady, who makes a man miss and is tackled all the way at the 22-yard line. A beautiful punt. And nowhere to go for Jonathan Brady. So a 1st and 10 for Indiana coming up deep in their own territory. We'll take a break with them. 8:16 to play. That 3 and out, big for Indiana. Second look at the offense here on WIUX. 2 drives for Oregon with 8:16 to play the first quarter. Neither of them ending up with any plays ran on Indiana's side of the field. Indiana got it on a turnover on downs in plus territory, was able to kick a field goal. So a 3-0 lead for the Hoosiers, and their second offensive drive of the game will get things started at their own 22-yard line. And Nick, we talked about it. This is where it gets really loud. They're basically in the Oregon student section right now.
Yeah, the ball on the far side hash at the 22, and the student section is right in Fernando Mendoza's ears right now. If the noise is going to play a factor, it's going to be on this series.
No tight end set, twins to both sides, and Roman Hemby, the running back for Fernando Mendoza, but motion to bring all receivers closer to the ball. Shotgun snap, he'll look to his left, now look over the middle, caught by his tight end, Riley Nowakowski, swarmed immediately at the 27-yard line, so just a gain of about 5 yards. Devin Jackson, the middle linebacker, was there.
Fernando Mendoza came up to the line of scrimmage there, and I think he checked out of whatever the original play was. That's something that he did not do at Iowa, so I wonder if maybe he's got that freedom to change plays now.
Ball's now on the 27. 3-0 Indiana lead, under 8 to go in the first quarter. Twins to the far side, and Hemby on his left hip. Mendoza stomps his feet a couple of times before taking the snap, hands it off, powering it inside off tackle, all the way to the 35, and at the first down marker, maybe just a yard short, is Roman Hemby. Amori Washington and Jerry Mixon brought him down, and this is going to be a 3rd and 1 from Indiana's 32-yard line.
This might be another situation where Mendoza changes if he sees something pre-snap. These low yardage 3rd and 4th down situations against Iowa, Indiana ran straight into an 8 or 9 man box pretty much every time. We'll see what Mendoza does pre-snap here.
2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Hemby to his left with Nowakowski, the tight end, on the right side, and a flag. Drew Evans, Indiana's left guard, moved. It's going to be a false start. A 3rd and 1 turns into a 3rd and 6.
And these pre-snap penalties, Indiana had one against Iowa. The Hoosiers had one on a field goal attempt on their first drive. Now, they were able to still convert, but that's very costly because you go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6, basically erasing Roman Hemby's rush off the board, and this has the potential to snowball in a hostile environment like this.
What can Indiana dial up on 3rd and 6? Trips to the far side, 1 receiver to the near side, no tight ends, Roman Hemby on the right hip of Mendoza. Snap back, 5-step drop back, looks to his left, carried, pocket collapsing and brought down at the 15-yard line, Mateo Uiagalelei. And Amori Washington got to Fernando Mendoza, bring him down to the backfield, and it's a 4th down. Indiana will have to punt.
Well, Ben, it started with Uiagalelei coming off the far side edge, and Mendoza was forced to step up. Amori Washington got a great push inside. He bullied his way into the backfield, and Mendoza basically ran right into him. He had nowhere to go.
It looked like Bray Lynch was pushed into Mendoza by Washington, and that's what initially brought him down. Now with his heels on the 2-yard line comes Mitch McCarthy to punt. Back to receive for Oregon is Gary Bryant Jr. Snaps away, first a penalty flag, and do we have another Indiana false start? We've seen 2 already. Indiana's only ran less than 10 offensive plays or special teams plays so far.
Well, they've run 7 plays total offensively, and we'll wait for the call.
It's a delay of game.
Delay of game on, I guess it's going to go on Mitch McCarthy. Wow.
This will push him back into the end zone.
And it looked like Oregon was sending the house, and so Indiana was trying to change the punt protection, and they just ran out of time on the play clock. So now if you're Oregon, you've got to send the house for this punt block, right?
Now McCarthy's feet are on the E in the Oregon end zone. Ball is on the Indiana 11-yard line. Gary Bryant still set back to return. Indiana will motion to bring some guys inside. Snap is away. Punt is off by McCarthy, kind of off the end of his foot. It's a shorter one towards the sideline. Bryant takes it at the 48-yard line. It'll go out of bounds immediately. It's the 48 of Oregon, but they're almost in Indiana territory for the first time today.
Yeah, just pre-snap penalties, and these were a problem when Indiana played Old Dominion. Signetti talked about it as the kind of mistakes that they just didn't make last year. But you look at Indiana already, in this game, the penalty yardage being a massive problem. It started with that false start on 3rd and 1, and then on the punt as well. And now if you're Oregon, this is where you might take a shot coming out of this media timeout because you got a short field. Indiana cannot figure things out offensively, so this is where you could kind of flip that momentum coming out of this break.
They start their drive at their own 48. If they were to take a shot, there are a lot of options. It's a more balanced receiver room for Oregon. DeCorian Moore has been the story and the leading receiver of that room. He's got 300 receiving yards this season with a couple of touchdowns. But we haven't really seen him targeted yet today. We've seen Malik Benson targeted. We've seen Gary Bryant Jr. with a catch. But other than that, not much.
Yeah, Gary Bryant, Noah Whittington, and Jordan Davison, and 2 of those are running backs.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that we haven't seen DeCorian Moore yet. We saw Malik Benson targeted once, but the pass was incomplete on the near sideline closest to us. I am very surprised that Dan Lanning has not allowed Dante Moore to air it out yet. Considering Signetti, of all people, was very complimentary of his arm talent. Dante Moore, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year. There's no doubt about it. So I'm kind of surprised that the play calling has been very conservative, but maybe that's also just one of those things where you don't want to show too much too early if you're Oregon. You think back to that Penn State game, that was 3-3 at halftime, and very slow start for both teams. So maybe Oregon just struggling early again, but coming out of the bye week, you'd think you'd wipe the slate clean.
This sort of has that same kind of feel for the first 6 minutes, first 9 minutes and 2 seconds of this game as it did in the Penn State-Oregon. Like I said, it was 3-3 at halftime. We're 3-0 Indiana lead here from Autzen, but I think that is the kind of game that Oregon doesn't mind having because they know the potential they have offensively, and all it takes is just one play to kind of break out and lead a drive. And when you have that more-to-more connection with Dante and DeCorian, that's really all you need. Yeah,
and I think also the physicality is something to keep in mind here as well. Oregon's O-line, the weights from left to right, 318, 329, 332, and 327. That kind of physicality up front wears on you in the trenches over the course of a game. And Indiana was tested like that at Iowa, and credit the defensive front seven because they held up really well. But it's another test for them here, and Dante Moore will start this drive with fantastic field position.
They have not been on Indiana's side of the field yet today offensively, but they are really close. Drive started from their own 48-yard line. At the near side hash, they trail by 3 with 5:58 to play in the first quarter. And Jamari Johnson will come into the game as a tight end. Jaden Lamar, the running back. And immediately a bunch formation for Oregon to start their drive. Power formation. 2 wings on the left side and a tight end. And the running back on the right hip. It's a handoff, a double reverse handout all the way to the outside, trying to find the edge into Indiana territory, 45-yard line. The slot man, DeCorian Moore, came around to get it, and Aiden Fisher brought him down after 7 or 8 yards. But again, into Indiana territory, they are at the IU 45. No huddle, 2 running backs in the backfield. Quick screen pass out right, and a nice juke move, but eventually Indiana's secondary got there. Kyle Kamara came all the way out, just a gain of 1 after the screen pass to the running back Davison. This is a 3rd and 3 coming up. No gain on the play, no huddle again. Moore rolls out right, now looks deep to his left. He's got a man caught, Malik Benson into the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. Didn't take long for the Ducks to take the lead. A 45-yard pass to Benson. And you can hear Autzen Stadium getting into it.
Dan Lanning described Malik Benson earlier in the week as an explosive deep ball threat. Right there, Indiana's secondary all out of sorts. Oregon went hurry up, and that caught Indiana completely by surprise. Communication breakdown in the secondary, and Malik Benson could have walked into the end zone right there.
Oregon goes a little trickeration on the extra point before bringing everybody back in. At Atticus Sappington, our first look at him for the extra point look. They got Oregon down to a 3rd and 4, but a deep shot for him as Sappington puts the cherry on top of this 3-play drive. Oregon takes the lead 7-3 with 5:15 to go in the first quarter. Both teams draw blood. 5 minutes to go before that second quarter. No media timeout, so we will keep it here. But I think what you saw from Oregon was that hurry-up offense confusing Indiana a little bit.
Yeah, and also I believe Dante Moore tucked it initially. It looked like he was rolling right, like he was going to run for it. That brought Aiden Fisher up, and then Amari Farrell, the safety, bit in as well. And that allowed Moore to dunk it in over the top. And I got to say, the ball placement, even though Benson was wide open, the ball placement was perfect. Benson didn't have to change stride. He didn't have to break rhythm. He was there. And that was a perfect throw by Dante Moore. Longest reception of the season for Malik Benson, that 44-yard touchdown strike. And now if you're Indiana, you've got to respond, because this is kind of what we talked about before the game. If you're going to get punched, you've got to prove that you can punch back. If Oregon's defense forces a 3-and-out, this game could snowball on Indiana, as we've seen in other big game environments.
Sappington back to kick for Oregon. Oregon is not the only team to run that hurry-up offense against Indiana. We have seen almost every team do it. Iowa did it a little bit. You saw it early in the season with teams like Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Illinois a little bit as well. Sappington to kick. Brady and Hemby are back for Indiana, and Roman Hemby lets it go through the back of the end zone. So the first touchback for Atticus Sappington today. And Indiana getting their drive started from their own 25. And again, this is a game of momentum. So 3-and-out or any sort of no scoring here for Indiana could be big.
And Indiana, you look at in the trenches, that's where Indiana's offense is predicated. The success of the run game. -3 rush yards through 2 offensive possessions right now for Indiana. That has to change.
Kaylon Black will get a first look at him for the first time as the Indiana halfback. Ball's on the far side hash at Indiana's own 25. Pistol formation with Black behind Mendoza. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Chest high snap will turn to hand it off, but it is Kaylon Black powering off tackle to the left side and diving for the 30-yard line. He was just short of it at the 29, so a pickup of 3 and a 2nd and 7 coming up.
Indiana's O-line, that left side, Drew Evans and Pat Coogan in the middle as well, getting a great push. Carter Smith did a good job sealing the edge. Black has that explosive burst of speed, and he showed it right there. That's a good start to the drive for Indiana.
Kaylon Black, that second running back, 55 carries coming into today. They'll go with a bunch formation on the far side for a second and medium from their own 29. Snap back, fakes the handoff. Now Mendoza rolls out right, being chased. He's got a man for a first down. Omar Cooper caught and took it up to the 40-yard line before he's bulldozed out of bounds by Jaden Kennedy. But Kennedy was the nickelback that he beat to pick up the first down.
Good job by Mendoza there of staying poised as he was rolling. He had pressure coming in his direction, but Cooper was shadowing him a few yards up the field. Easy pitch and catch and moving the chains for Indiana.
New lead for Oregon. They lead 7-3 with 4:10 to play in the first quarter. We'll go pistol formation for Indiana from their own 41 on the first attempt. Now Black moves to the right hip of Mendoza. Twins to the far side, a 2 tight end set. Takes the snap, handoff to the left side. Kaylon Black breaks a tackle into Oregon territory and into the secondary. He's tripped up at the 45-yard line of Oregon by the strong safety Aaron Flowers. A strong run for Kaylon Black.
Talked about that initial burst of speed by Black. He doesn't need much, averaging over 6 yards a carry this season. Both of these teams have phenomenal run games, and now Indiana's starting to find some rhythm.
Back-to-back first down plays for Indiana. 2 tight end set on the right side, 1 receiver to each side for Mendoza. Chest high snap. He's going to have a 3-step drop back before looking right, firing a spiral to the first down marker, caught by Omar Cooper at the 34 before falling out of bounds. Another Indiana first down.
It's where Indiana struggled against Iowa in pass protection, but there, great job by Kaylon Black, picking up that extra pass rusher and giving Mendoza time to throw Cooper open near the boundary. That is a key for Indiana if you want to establish that balanced offense as this game goes along.
Indiana trying to respond after Oregon's 45-yard touchdown pass to Malik Benson. 2 receivers out to the far side. We'll go trips now. Roman Hemby motions that way. Empty backfield for Mendoza. He'll take the snap, quick screen pass out left to Elijah Surratt, following his blockers and falling down right near the first down marker at about the 23-yard line, and it will move the chains. That's Omar Cooper, I beg your pardon. So Indiana nearing the red zone, and that is 4 straight first down plays for Indiana.
Great job by Indiana there. The blockers getting downfield. Cooper really was kind of pushing them, but Indiana got a great push at the line of scrimmage, perfect screen pass, and the chains were moving now.
1st and 10, now at the Oregon 23-yard line. Ball moves to the middle of the field, and the trips go to the right side of Mendoza. Stomps his feet a couple of times before taking the snap. Another screen, this time to the near side. Omar Cooper fell on his own and didn't have anywhere to go at the line of scrimmage. Bryce Betcher, the middle linebacker, met him there, and he will trip him up.
Yeah, I think Indiana trying to go back to the well there, but Cooper kind of lost his footing. He wasn't going to get much anyway. I think that was an option play where Mendoza could have handed it off. Instead, he pulled it, tried for the screen pass. Might have wanted to see him hand it off there if you're head coach Kurt Cignetti.
After 4 straight first down plays, Indiana has a 2nd and 10 coming up from Oregon's 23. Trips again, this time to the left. Roman Hemby moves left hip to the right hip of Mendoza. One receiver out right, no tight ends. He takes the snap and will hand it off. Hemby following a blocker up the middle. He's got a convoy before being hit from behind to the 17-yard line. Picked up about 6 on the play. It's a pretty good run and a nice drive for Kalon Black, but a 3rd and 4 inside the red zone for IU. They trail by 4, 7-3 Oregon, 1:20 to play in the first quarter in a loud, rocking Autzen Stadium.
This is where you talk about getting punched and being able to punch back. You don't want to settle for a field goal here if you're Indiana. You can take the wind out of Oregon's sails by keeping this drive moving.
They go trips for the 3rd straight play to the far side. The running back on the right hip of Mendoza. One receiver out right. 3rd and 4 from Oregon 17. Takes a chest-high snap. Looks left. He's got room up the middle. He'll take it himself. Got the first down inside the 5. Is diving forward for the 2-yard line. Fernando Mendoza took it himself. Jerry Mixon eventually tracked him down, but Indiana's inside the 5.
And that's the thing. When you give Mendoza time, he is comfortable if he doesn't see anything downfield taking off. Mendoza over 100 rushing yards this season, and I'm surprised Oregon did not keep a spy there to account for him. He had all kinds of room.
IU trying to take the lead. Black, they trail by 4 with 20 seconds on the first quarter clock. 1st and goal at Oregon's 3. Man coming in motion. It's going to be a handoff to Hemby up the middle, powering through a defender and scoring. IU takes the lead back. Roman Hemby. His first touchdown as an Indiana Hoosier. And this Autzen crowd is absolutely silenced. There was a pretty good hole there for Hemby, but there was one defender to beat. Didn't try to go around him. He went through him.
He brought him into the end zone with him. Fantastic running there by Roman Hemby, using his legs and churning forward.
Snaps good, holds good. Kick is good for Niko Radicic. IU takes the lead back. You talked about punching back. That's exactly what Indiana and Roman Hemby do. It is 10-7 Hoosiers with 15 seconds to play in this first quarter.
And really, Ben, we talked about it at the start of the drive. Indiana had not established the run yet. What was the key to success on that drive? It was both running backs. It started with Kalon Black, a couple of really nice runs between the tackles, and then Roman Hemby able to pay it off. Hemby played here at Autzen last year when Maryland came to town. He had a rushing touchdown in that game as well, although things did not go swimmingly. Maryland lost by 21 points. And that was the game Dylan Gabriel set the FBS passing touchdown record, but Hemby here for the 2nd straight year and off to a fantastic start. He brought that defender into the end zone and trucked him backwards. That was really impressive.
So it's 10-7 Indiana. No media break because we'll get one at the end of the first quarter. Jaden Lamar and Jordan Davison, a couple of the Oregon running backs, back to receive the kick.
I think it's Whittington instead of Davison. It's hard to tell.
It is. We talked about it. 5 or 6 running backs this Oregon team has already used in the first quarter. But with 15 seconds on the clock, it is for sure Brendan Franke to kick away. And usually it doesn't matter who the returners are when Frankie's kicking another one back through the back of the end zone. Oregon will probably get one more play before the end of the first quarter. It'll come from their own 25.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, kind of an understated part of Indiana's success against Iowa, Brendan Franke's ability to prevent kick returns by booming the ball through the back of the end zone, something Indiana didn't do enough last year. But Franke doing a great job. Oregon's got so many explosive players at running back and wide receiver and in the kick return game as well. So Franke doing a good job making that a non-factor.
Noah Whittington's the running back on the right hip now. The 1st and 10 from their own 25. A stack receiver formation on the near side for Oregon, and a man coming in motion. Dante Moore will take the chest-high snap and hand it off to Whittington off the right side. Got a big hole, and eventually the Indiana linebackers had to pull him down all the way up to the 32-yard line. A gain of 7 yards. Dan Lanning's on the field asking for a face mask. It will be the last play of the first quarter, and right as You could hear the Oregon fans see they wanted a face mask there, but no call.
You can't review it. So that's the call on the field. Indiana probably bailed out there, if we're being honest. But I know Curt Cignetti's not going to complain, but the face mask was definitely grabbed. So maybe something to circle there, because penalties had been a factor for Indiana in the first quarter. The Hoosiers definitely got a break there. What an exciting first quarter.
Yeah, it was still a 7-yard rush on the final play in the first and 10 of the first quarter. Indiana comes into Autzen, takes a 10-7 lead in the first quarter. Oregon's got the ball back and will try to either tie it up or take the lead in the second quarter. We got a good one ahead of us, Nick. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to WIUX. Back here in Eugene, Oregon for Indiana's 10-7 lead over the Oregon Ducks. A top 10 matchup from Autzen Stadium. And a few mini-big games for Indiana this year. The schedule noticeably got tougher from last season, and Indiana has stepped up to every challenge they've had so far this year. Took on a, at the time, top 10 team back at Memorial Stadium, put a whooping on Illinois, came into Kinnick Stadium, another one of the toughest places to play in college football. Came out with a win thanks to a missed field goal and a big touchdown leading drive, game-winning drive. And they have a 3-point lead over Oregon. Ducks have the ball to start the second quarter. By current rankings in the AP poll, Oregon, and probably by every metric, Oregon will be the toughest team Indiana will play this season. Penn State, after dropping that game to UCLA, fell out of the top 25. They will take a trip to State College later this year. 2nd and 3 out of the break for Oregon. They go trips to the far side. Dante Moore takes a snap, hit as he throws. It goes out of bounds, falling harmlessly to the Indiana sideline, but there were a lot of Indiana defenders in the area. The front seven got to him quickly. Tyreek Tucker was there. And another third down coming up for Oregon. It's 3rd and 3. Ball on their own 32. Now this time trips go to the far side with Noah Whittington on the right hip of Moore. 2 men coming in motion. It's 2 tight ends, Sadiq and Johnson, now to the right of Moore. 3rd and 3 snap. Takes back, 3-step drop back, fakes the pass left. Now he's going to roll out to the right. Might have the first down if he wants it. Takes it himself. He was hit before. Did not get the first down. Kellen Wyatt, the defensive end, is down for Indiana.
It looked like Wyatt got his knee rolled up on. As that play was breaking down, Moore was rolling right. I think there was an O-lineman that fell on Wyatt. It was very awkward. But Indiana, for now, it looks like the spot is short, but the concern obviously being Kellen Wyatt, the Maryland transfer. That did not look good. It was an awkward fall, and you're hoping he is face down on the turf right now. That is bad, bad news for Indiana.
So we should have a 4th and short coming up for Oregon, but Kellen Wyatt is down in the middle of the field for Indiana. Curt Cignetti's furious, pointing at Wyatt and talking to the officials.
I couldn't tell. It looked like Wyatt may have gotten tackled. I don't know if he got fallen on. It was hard to see, and we, of course, have not seen a replay. But Wyatt is still face down. This is not good.
Now we're going to take a quick break and injury timeout here just as the second quarter begins. But a 4th and short coming out of the break with 14:42 to play before intermission. It's 10-7 Indiana, WIUX. We just got the second quarter started here from Eugene, Oregon. It's a 10-7 Indiana lead and a 4th and short coming up for Oregon on their first drive out of the quarter. But there was an injury to Indiana's star defensive end, Kellen Wyatt. Stephen Daly is now in the game, so we'll try to get an update on Wyatt a little later. But for the time being, this is one of the biggest plays of this early game so far. 4th and 1 from the 34 of Oregon, and this is their second time going for a 4th and short. Indiana got him to turn it over on downs the first time and got the ball in plus territory. If they were able to stop Oregon short, they would get the same, even better field position.
Sig is talking to the officials on the sideline. That was why the stoppage. But this is 4th and less than a yard. Wonder if maybe Dante Moore tries some play action here and trying to get Indiana to bite on the run.
Oregon brings in a power set, 2 tight ends, 1 to each side, as well as both receivers are in a wing set on the near side. Running back in the backfield, Jordan Davison moved to a fullback position. They hand it off to him. Up the middle, got plenty of room. Up to the 40 and powering forward for a couple of more. He gets to the 42-yard line, so he needed a couple of inches. He got about 7 yards for a first down to the Ducks.
Yeah, Ben, and that's where that size on Oregon's offensive line, they got a great push off the line of scrimmage and a missed opportunity there for Indiana's defense to come off the field. Now, I'm interested to see Kellen Wyatt, the stud, the edge rusher kind of hybrid who sometimes will drop into coverage, but he's injured, so Stephen Daly comes in. I wonder if Oregon tries to exploit that.
Moore goes under center once again with the ball now at Oregon's 42-yard line of the near side hatch at a 1st and 10. 2 tight ends set, 1 receiver to each side. Running back in the backfield under center. It's a handoff off right tackle. Jordan Davison made a man miss into Indiana territory. He's still up all the way to the Indiana 35 and brought down by IU secondary at the Indiana 32-yard line. A pickup of about 20 yards for Jordan Davison.
And now Jamari Sharp is down for Indiana.
Man.
He is slow to get up, but he's back on his feet.
That is Indiana's second corner. Their star corner, D'Angelo Pons, missed Indiana's last game. It was 2 weeks ago because of a bye week.
And Sharp is hobbling off the field.
Wow, and this is going to call for another injury timeout.
Sharp was face down, and Sig is yelling at him too, I think. Sharp looks like he's very frustrated down there. I can't really tell. But Indiana all of a sudden now on its heels defensively. Neither offense having trouble running the ball, Ben. Both of these teams right now averaging about 5 yards per carry. So getting great push up front.
Sharp does come off the field. Ryland Gandy, who got the start in place of D'Angelo Pons against Iowa, will come into the game to replace him. Twins to the near side for a 1st and 10 for Oregon from the Indiana 32-yard line. 10-7 IU, 13:20 to play in the second quarter. Pistol formation, Davison behind Moore, and he will hand it off to Davison. Off right tackle again, tripped up by Aiden Fisher at the 30-yard line. It would have been a lot more. Fisher, a game-saving, or at least a play-saving tackle at the 30-yard line. It's just a pickup of 2.
Sharp back in for Indiana. That's the good news. Aiden Fisher got off his block and tripped the running back there basically with one hand. That could have easily been a double-digit gain for Jordan Davison. Fisher making a great instinctive tackle.
Instead, it's 2nd and 8 of the 30. Moore under center once again. 2 tight ends to the left side. Takes the under center snap, and it will fake a handoff. It's play action. He's looking deep to his right, has nobody. Pocket collapsing. He'll take it himself. He's inside the red zone. He dove with the 20-yard line of the first down marker. There's a flag in the backfield of the area of holding. And I think it will be Pancho Laululu.
Yeah, Oregon's walking back, and that's the thing. When those plays break down, it's hard for the O-lineman not to hold. But they got Pancho Laululu for holding there, the junior out of Honolulu. And, of course, Oregon fans don't like it because Moore did a great job there making something out of nothing, but that wipes the gain off the board. And these are the kinds of games, those penalties, I should say, those 10-yard penalties, those can be drive killers. Yeah. But it's up to Indiana now to capitalize on that defensively.
Laululu, a Big Ten honorable mention member a season ago, was named the Oregon Comeback Player of the Year on the team after an injury a couple of seasons ago, the true junior. They'll go twins to the far side, now bring a couple receivers in to make it a wing set on both sides. Pistol set on a 2nd and a long. Fake handoff of the shotgun. Dante Moore back to pass it to dump off to his running back, Jordan Davison, caught at the 34-yard line and driven back by Elijah Hardy right after the catch. They pick up 5, but on a 2nd and 17, it just makes it a 3rd and 12. Another huge 3rd and long coming up for Oregon. We've seen a few of these already today.
This is where, if you're Indiana, you absolutely cannot give up a first down conversion. This is where you've got to hold Oregon to a field goal attempt and try to keep them from marching down the field.
Trips to the far side. Jaden Lamar, now the running back, on the right hip of Dante Moore. No tight end set. It's 3rd and 12. Indiana shows blitz. Snap back. 7-step drop back. He's looking to his left. Now up the middle. Aiden Fisher there. He's going to flip it on a dump off to Jaden Lamar, who's hit in the backfield. Still a loss of about 3. Big bad Tyreek Tucker came up to hit Lamar after Moore just dumped it off, and Dante Moore's down. And I think Oregon's cheering. There must be a flag?
I see a flag in the secondary, way away from the play on the opposite. And they got defensive holding.
Wow. After Oregon gets called for a holding to bring up a 2nd and 17, eventually a 3rd and 12 on a negative yardage play for Oregon. Indiana gets called for defensive holding. And an automatic first down for Oregon.
These self-inflicted wounds, Ben, they've been a problem for Indiana this season, not just in this game, but they got Amarian Knighton, I think, on the hold. No, they got Amari Farrell. Okay, Amari Farrell on the hold. He's a veteran. I feel like he should know better.
Another empty backfield, 4 more. Now a couple guys come in motion. It's Jaden Lamar who will set up at a pistol set, and a bunch receivers formation on the far side for a 1st and 10. Lamar will take the snap, hand it off. Now off the left tackle, Jaden Lamar bouncing out and getting inside the 20. He's wrapped up at about the 19-yard line, a gain of 4. Couple of defensive ends. Isaiah Jones comes out of the play with the ball.
Forward progress was stopped, I think.
Whistle was blown, and a gain of 4 brings up 2nd and 6.
But, Ben, Indiana already four penalties for 25 yards. And you talked about it, 3rd and long, you cannot stay out on the field if you're the defense. A self-inflicted mistake. Great teams like Oregon are going to make you pay for those.
This drive came before and after the quarter breaks. So these Indiana offense and Oregon defense are getting a long break. Here's a 2nd and 6 from Indiana's 19-yard line. 10-7 IU. 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. Moore rolling out to his left. Got a man cut. Oh, dropped. He had his 2nd-string tight end, Jamari Johnson, for a 1st down and more. He was wide open, and he tried to run before he caught the ball.
Exactly, Ben. You took the words right out of my mouth there. You've got to catch the ball before you run with it. I think Jamari Johnson there just saw a bunch of open space and said, oh, man, I could make something out of this. And instead, Oregon now once again behind the chains on 3rd and 6. Another chance for this Indiana defense to get off the field.
The 3rd and 6 will come again from Indiana's 19. Twins to both sides. Jordan Davison, the running back. Kind of that blocking back, too, for Dante Moore. Last 3rd down, Indiana got called for defensive holding. Snap back, pocket collapsing. Moore's going to have to roll out to his right. Might look to run, made a juke. Aiden Fisher not fooled. Fisher brought him down to the backfield. At a 4th down coming up for Oregon, Indiana star linebacker making a big play.
And that time, Ben, no flags. Fisher doing a great job, good eye discipline, staying on Dante Moore the whole time and rallying to the runner, forcing Oregon to ultimately settle for a field goal attempt. And Atticus Sappington has been far from automatic in his Oregon career.
Sappington has had a long career in college football. He's played in some big games, but this year for Oregon has been shaky. This field goal will be officially a 40-yard field goal from the 23-yard line. Snap's good, hold is good, kick is up, it's right through. Oregon ties this game up at 10. So some self-inflicted penalties. Indiana still able to halt a long Oregon drive and hold them to just 3 points. We are all knotted up at 10.
And Ben, all things considered, Indiana doing a good job not allowing that penalty to end in a touchdown. You figured it probably would have been a field goal attempt either way. So that's best case scenario for Indiana. And when it comes to the outcome of that drive, Sabrina Ionescu, one of the greatest women's college basketball players of all time, being introduced here in Eugene. But I'll tell you what, early returns are encouraging for Indiana handling this big game atmosphere. Definitely a more complete start than we've seen in any of the other 3 big games that Indiana's played in under Curt Cignetti. Certainly encouraging, and it's still a little bit down the road, but it's worth bearing in mind. Indiana won the coin toss and deferred, so the Hoosiers will get the ball to start the second half. We've still got 9:18 to go in this second quarter, but something to keep in mind, because Indiana, this is where you can kind of, I'm not necessarily thinking about the middle 8 yet, but if you can sustain a drive here and limit Oregon's offensive time of possession, I think that's going to be big going into and coming out of the halftime break.
10-10 tie from Autzen Stadium here in Eugene as the T-shirt toss gets going. That little summary of that drive for Oregon, 12 plays, 53 yards, a lot of dirty laundry on both sides. It was 5 minutes and 57 seconds of game time. They got that drive started right at the beginning of the second quarter, or one play at the end of the first quarter into the second quarter. So, again, I mentioned it, but Indiana's offense, Oregon's defense, they have been sitting for a very long time. Usually that benefits the defense.
Exactly, and these Oregon the defensive front 7 for Oregon, it starts on the edge with Mateo Uyunglele, who we've already seen get pressure on Fernando Mendoza. In the middle, you've got 2 300-plus pound D tackles, Amari Washington at 330. He's been impactful at getting into the backfield, getting in Fernando Mendoza's face here early. And I wonder if Indiana's going to be able to keep up physically in the trenches. You're also just worried about the penalties. Because Indiana, again, those self-inflicted mistakes, they've been a factor in this game. And you're looking for Indiana to stay on the ground. If you take out the sacks, Indiana averaging 6.9 rushing yards per carry right now. If they can sustain that, they're going to give themselves a really good chance of winning this game.
Injury, something to note, too. We saw two big ones for Indiana, Kellen Wyatt and Jamari Sharp. Sharp came back into the game a play later. We have not seen Kellen Wyatt yet or heard an update. But again, he was the one that was down for a while, and it did not look pretty. Roman Hemby and Solomon Van Horst back to return this kick from Atticus Sappington after Sappington out of this game up at 10 with 9:18 to play until halftime.
Weird kick formation here for Oregon. Pretty much everybody bunched around the ball.
We have seen some trickeration from Oregon a lot of different ways, especially on their extra point. Everybody will spread out as Sappington runs up to kick it through the back of the end zone. Another touchback on a kickoff in this game. Indiana gets their drive started from the 25.
We talked about it last drive, Ben. Indiana marching down the field. It started with the two-headed rushing attack of Kalon Black and Roman Hemby. Black started the last drive on the field. He's doing the same here. Wonder if Indiana goes back to the well and tries to establish the run to begin this drive.
Oregon is outgaining Indiana both on the ground and through the air. 65-63 passing, 60-39 rushing yards. Indiana yet to establish anything on the ground. But drive started for the far side. Hash twins out to the far side. One receiver to the near side. And a running back on the left tip of Mendoza is Roman Hemby. Snap taken, fakes a handoff, throw to the right. Slant caught by Elijah Surratt right at the 35-yard line where he dove down the cornerback Ifeobi Degu and eventually brought him down, but it's a pickup of 9 in the 2nd and 1.
And Ben, I think Surratt was grabbed as he broke in on that route. Surprised not to see a flag.
Trips to the far side of the 2nd and 1. Mendoza, a wobbly snap, handoff to the left, right of the first down marker. He didn't get it. Kalon Black could not get the 1 yard he needed. A couple of guys back there for Oregon, but Bear Alexander, the star defensive tackle, wrapped him up, but it's a 3rd and 1.
This is where, if you're Indiana, this is exactly what you don't want, the chance of a very quick 3 and out. 3rd and 1. You'd expect this to be a rushing situation. I think everybody and their mom knows that. So this might come down to who wins in the trenches right off the snap.
10-10 tie, under 9 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter at Autzen. It's loud. Twins to Mendoza's right for a 3rd and 1 from Indiana's 34-yard line. Mendoza's in shotgun. He's got a fullback to his left. Fakes a handoff. It's a throw out right. A deep shot. Surratt got grabbed. Pass is incomplete. There's no flag.
He was getting grabbed. He never had a chance to make a play on the ball, and Kurt Cignetti is out on the numbers. He is irate, and I don't blame him.
Cignetti's got to be careful. He was all the way out of the numbers, and he's chucking his headset.
Well, he's justified. That was pass interference, clear as day, and now he's going to get a sideline warning.
I think this is a warning. This is a 4th and 1 coming up for Indiana, and Indiana cannot afford anything more for Cignetti.
I don't blame him.
Issue number 1, getting Cignetti off the field, but you understand why he's upset.
I don't blame him. He's completely justified. That was a bogus non-call. Surratt was getting grabbed. He never had a chance to play the ball. I think it was Ifeobi Degu in coverage. Or that was Brandon Finney Jr., I beg your pardon, the star freshman. But that was textbook pass interference.
And Indiana will bring out the punt unit on the 4th and 1 in their own territory.
And now Indiana, I think, calls timeout. That was an awful no call. Horrible.
So in these situations, Oregon's had a couple of them. They have decided to go for it both times. They're 1 for 2 on those 4th and shorts. 8:12 to go here in the 2nd quarter.
I do not blame Kurt Cignetti for getting a sideline warning. He was almost out on the 30-yard line on the numbers.
That's always a tough one because the play was towards Oregon's sideline. So he's trying to obviously talk to the back judge on the far side.
Yeah.
Couldn't really get anything through.
But no, if that was the other way around, I would say the same thing if it was not called, because that was pass interference. And that should be a 15-yard penalty, but it's not. And now Indiana, I thought for a second they were going to go for it. And then after the sideline warning, Mitch McCarthy came out.
So here, that's why it got interesting. 4th and 1's a big decision, obviously, for your head coach to make.
Yeah.
Cignetti was too busy losing his mind at the officials. And Indiana will bring the offense out of the field. Here's a 4th and 1. Maybe we see it a lot, just trying to bait an offsides penalty. But 4th and 1 from their own 34-yard line. Indiana's offense, Oregon's defense out on the field. Little more than halfway to play here in this second quarter. It's a two tight end set, one to each side. Kalon Black on the left tip of Mendoza, one receiver to each side. And there's a flag, and Indiana jumps.
I think that was a false start, everyone but the center situation. And, Ben, that's already the third or fourth false start of this game for Indiana.
Makes the decision a little bit easier for IU. They're going to punt this one away, and you immediately see the impact that Autzen's crowd is
having. I've never seen, outside of Ohio State last year, I've never seen Indiana this rattled trying to snap the ball. This is... It's clear that they cannot handle this noise pre-snap. This has happened far too many times already.
Mitch McCarthy to punt away with his heels on the 14-yard line. Back to receive for Oregon, Gary Bryant Jr. Snap back, boots it away from the 18, and Bryant going over to the 30, catches it on the numbers at the 30, able to break a tackle, a couple of tackles, up to the 35, a couple men down. There's a flag near the line of scrimmage where the ball was kicked away.
Trying to see who this is against. I think it's against Indiana. No.
A holding on the return team for Oregon, so it'll add a tack on the opposite way, so tougher field position for Oregon. But immediate timeout with exactly 8 minutes to play in the second quarter. Still a 10-10 tie. Oregon forces a punt. I get the ball here on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Couple of missed no calls for both teams leads to Oregon taking over in their own territory, and Jaden Lamar will be the running back. He's gotten the most carries for this Oregon team this year, but they get their drive started from their own 21-yard line in a 10-10 tie with exactly 8 minutes to play in this second quarter between number 3 Oregon at home and number 7 Indiana here on the road. They have gotten the stops when they've needed. Oregon just the 7 points of the first quarter, and then a long drive that led to a field goal last time out. Two receivers back there for the quarterback, Dante Moore, on the 1st and 10. One receiver to both sides. Fakes the handoff, now throw across the middle, caught through the middle of the field, and brought down after a first down by DeCorian Moore. The safety, Amari Farrell, is there. 11-yard catch. Will move the chains for Oregon all the way up to about the 35-yard line.
DeCorian Moore, the star freshman out of Duncanville, Texas, a cradle of high school football talent. Surprisingly, that's the first time we've said his name, and we're halfway through the second quarter.
We'll go twins to the right side, one receiver out left on the 1st and 10 for Oregon, one tight end's on the left. And the running back is De'Air Hill. Moore in shotgun formation. Now Hill motions out and will run a route. An empty backfield off his back foot. Dante Moore threw it out of bounds. Had nobody there.
He had nothing. And Indiana got great push up front. I think it was Hosea Wheeler that got through that time. Did a really good job of getting in the quarterback's face, and Moore wisely, he had absolutely nothing open. So just throw it away and live to see another down.
Here comes a 2nd and 10 now for Oregon. Again, tied 10-10. Noah Whittington, the running back, in the backfield. Twins to the both sides, so no tight end set. Now Whittington goes out wide. Snap back, 3-step drop back. Throw across the middle off the hands of Malik Benson. He had him wide open, but Moore led him to the wrong side of the 2nd and 10 pass. Falls incomplete. Another 3rd and long for Oregon.
As Benson broke in, the ball went toward the boundary, and he tried to kind of reach back and catch it with his right hand, but that was a poor throw by Dante Moore. I wonder if he and his receiver were not on the same page there.
Now Oregon will come with trips to the right side of Dante Moore. Whittington is on Moore's left hip. One receiver outright as well. 3rd and 10 from their own 35. Chest high snap. He's getting pushed out of the pocket. Isaiah Jones brings him down to the 20. It's a loss of 15 yards on Isaiah Jones, team leading 4th sack of the year.
And Ben, we talked about it. Oregon had only allowed 1 sack all season before this game. Indiana has 2 in the first half. Isaiah Jones has been such a phenomenal playmaker for Indiana. And now the Hoosiers have a chance to flip the field and get good field position out of this.
Back to punt, and another really good punt from Ferguson Reynolds to Jonathan Brady. It hangs in the air. He'll fair catch it inside his own 30-yard line at the 29. No immediate timeout. A huge 3-and-out for Indiana's defense. The front seven has come to play. Overall, the whole defense has come to play with 6:39 to go in the second quarter.
And, Ben, this has been the constant between these last two games, Iowa and now Oregon. The defense has been phenomenal. Bryant Haynes clearly having his group ready to play. And here, it's an opportunity for the offense to pay it off. You got decent field position starting at the 30. Starts, of course, with just getting the ball snapped. And it's shown Indiana has struggled with that. A lot of pre-snap penalties already. You got to clean those up if you want to help your defense out and pay this off with a score.
Game knotted up at 10, 6:39 to play in the first half. Bunch formation, a tight end to both sides. Surratt now goes out wide for the 1st and 10. Fakes a handoff. Mendoza looks right to Surratt. Caught at the first down marker. Breaks a tackle up to the 45 and pushed out at the 46-yard line. A nice connection. Dylan Thienemann's the one who pushed him out, but it's a gain of 16 yards at a 1st and 10 for IU.
And Mendoza got that throw off with Mateo Uyunglele in his face. He got hit after he threw it, and he still made a perfect throw to Elijah Surratt.
Ball is now put on the far side hash for this first down for IU. They're taking their time in their huddle. They rarely ever go hurry up. Twins to Mendoza's left, one to the right. Tight end is on the left side of Mendoza. Now Nowakowski going in motion to his right. A low snap. He fakes a handoff. Quick pass out right. A one-handed grab and a tackle broken. Omar Cooper got the first down. About 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, he made a one-hand catch. He broke 2 tackles, an 11-yard connection that felt like one of the best plays I've seen this year.
That could have been a tackle for loss or an incompletion. I don't know how Omar Cooper made that catch. It looked like an Odell Beckham kind of catch, reaching behind his head, making a man miss, and picking up a first down.
Into Oregon territory. They're at the Oregon 43. They'll send trips to the right side. 5:30 to go in the second quarter. Still 10-10. Nowakowski comes in motion to a tight end set on the right side. 3-step drop back, quick rollout right. Mendoza looking deep for Charlie Becker, who's got it batted up. And some contact as the ball goes to the floor. Nice coverage defensively on that play by Brandon Finney.
And we talked about Brandon Finney before this game started, allowing the lowest completion percentage of any defensive back, under 20%. Surprised Indiana's looking his way. Surprised also they're looking Charlie Becker's way. It feels like we haven't said his name a ton this year at the wide receiver position.
Maybe trying to catch Oregon off guard, but it's 2nd and 10 now. Trips again to the right side. An O tight end set. One receiver out left. Roman Hemby out left for Mendoza. Short drop back. He'll roll out right once again, and he's going to take it himself. Past the line of scrimmage, getting up to about the 39, maybe 40-yard line. Dylan Thienemann, the safety, tracked him out, snuffed him out, and pushed him out of bounds. A 3rd and 8 coming up. They only gave him 2 yards to the 39.
Ben, I'm surprised that wasn't a run play. Oregon didn't have a lot of defenders in the box, and usually on second long, you want something with guaranteed yardage. It looks like a good look for Roman Hemby as the Indiana running back on that play. But now 3rd and 8, and this crowd will definitely play a factor here.
Clock ticking under 5 minutes before halftime. Now trips out to the left on a 3rd and 8 from IU from their own 41-yard line. Mendoza takes the snap, going to step up in the pocket. Now going to roll out to his right once again. He's got nobody. He'll throw it out of bounds. Hit as he threw it out of bounds by Blake Purchase, the backup defensive end for Oregon, at a 4th and 8 coming up for IU. And decision time, it's a 4th and long. And Indiana will bring out the punt team.
I mean, you're talking about now a situation where Mitch McCarthy needs to put the nose of the ball down and try to pin Oregon inside the 10. Because if this is a touchback, it's only a net gain for Indiana of about 25 yards.
The criticisms have been in big games for Curt Cignetti, maybe getting a little too conservative. Indiana will punt in Oregon territory at the 41. McCarthy's heels on IU's 44. Punt goes to his right. It's going to bounce at the 5 and take an Oregon bounce, so Elijah Hardy will down it at about the 10-yard line. They place it at the 11.
So overall, decent job by Indiana there of flipping the field, and this is where kind of not having a strong-legged kicker comes back to bite you, because you're at the 41, that's about a 57, 58-yarder. We've seen some kickers attempt from that far out at the college level, but Indiana does not have one of those on its roster. So a situation now where Oregon's got to move the ball about 89 yards. They've got 4:19 to do it before the break. It feels like this could be a tipping point in this game if Oregon is able to come away with points here.
So again, they get their drive started from the 11, 4:19 to play, still a 10-10 tie. They come with that same two running back formation, one on the right hip and one behind Dante Moore, one receiver out to each side. Now the wide receiver will come in motion to make it twins to the left. Chest high snap. It's a handoff to the back behind him. No, play action. Got me too. Out to his receiver, De'Air Hill. He was able to run forward for about 5 yards before Elijah Hardy and Amari Sharp met him there.
And it's good that the play action did not fool Indiana's defense. D'Angelo Pons and Elijah Hardy did a great job there in coverage of staying disciplined. Moore did a good job selling the play fake too, at least to us.
Two-back set for Oregon again with a tight end on the right side. One split out to each side. 2nd and 5. They're now at their own 16-yard line. Clock at 3:45 to go in the second quarter. And in motion, chest high snap, run up the middle from De'Air Hill. He'll get the first down all the way up to the 26. Carried a couple of Indiana defenders with him, but Aiden Fisher, the middle linebacker, tripped him up.
Good push up front there by Oregon's massive offensive line. We talked about it. Everybody in the 320s, 330s in there. A fantastic running lane to go through. Looks like the Red Sea parted. You think back to Indiana last year, they had a few of those.
Only running back is Jaden Lamar now to the right hip of Dante Moore, who's got trips to the right side. Clock at 3:10 and a 1st and 10 from their own 26. Oregon and Indiana knotted up at 10. Going to fake a handoff. Now we'll give it to Lamar, who bounces it to the outside and sprinted to the 30 and picked up Moore all the way to the 31-yard line. That's another really good gain of about 6. Devin Boykin, the nickelback, chopped him down. And Oregon wants to hurry up. Didn't let Indiana get set. Now Lamar wants to bounce it out to the left side. Isaiah Jones coming up and eventually got him down. He hit him before the first down marker. Lamar carried him to the first down territory. So they pick up a first. 2:35 to play. Ball now on the Oregon 38-yard line, but a 1st and 10. Twins to the right side. Shotgun snap, this time play action. Fake handoff, looks to his right, has his tight end Johnson, who's hit immediately after the catch. Only a gain of about 2 after the dump off. Really nice play by Stephen Daly to come up. And the clock is ticking at 2:15. They'll try to get one more play off before the 2-minute timeout. With the clock at 2:10, no huddle. Moore now looks like he wants to slow it down a little bit. 2:05, and he will let it go to the 2-minute timeout. So Oregon trying to put together a pretty nice drive to end the first half. They were going hurry up. They will be content to let it tick to the 2-minute timeout. Have a 2nd and 7 from their own 41 coming up, trying to take the lead before halftime. IU gets the ball back in the second half, or gets the ball first in the second half. But with a 2-minute timeout, we'll take a timeout with them. Indiana and Oregon, a prime Big Ten matchup, knotted up at 10 on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Oregon with the ball at their own 41-yard line, out of the 2-minute timeout. They'll try to take the lead against number 7 Indiana with the clock exactly at 2 minutes to play. Both teams with just one touchdown drive, one field goal drive. You haven't seen a ton of turnovers in this game, just the one turnover on downs for Oregon. But not a lot of offensive success out of the timeout. They will go trips to the left and twins to the right, an empty backfield for Dante Moore. True West Coast offense. 2nd and 7, snap taken. Quick throw to the middle. Caught by Benson, running forward into Indiana territory all the way up to the 40. That was Gary Bryant Jr., I beg your pardon. A gain of about 20 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 for Oregon now at the Indiana 41-yard line. Clock at 1:50. Stack formation to both sides. Fake a handoff. Rushed quickly, but he's got a man to Corian Moore. Nice juke move at the first down marker. He got the first and carries the defender up to the 25-yard line.
Indiana blitzed there. They sent, I think, 6 or 7 rushers, and that left the secondary in single coverage. I think it was Devin Boykin who nearly got to Dante Moore, but Moore had that poise in the pocket with pressure in his face, flicked it out to the far side into Corian Moore. When he gets out in space, he is really tough to stop.
Can't tell if he got out of bounds or if they're just going to stop the clock and start it again for the first down. But it is a 1st and 10. Oregon almost in the red zone at Indiana's 23. 10-10 tie. Clock is stopped at 1:40, and it will stay stopped. Twins to the far side. Fake a handoff and a flag. And I think the running back for Oregon is either illegal motion or maybe Oregon's running back left early.
It was a bad snap, and it looked like I think it was Jordan Davison got moving early. Yeah, I think Davison just started before the snap. Pre-snap penalties, that's been Indiana's bugaboo in this first half, but there it moves Oregon back 5. Now you're right on the edge of field goal range. This is where Indiana's defense can really buckle down and make a statement.
Up comes 1st and 15 now from Indiana's 28-yard line. 2 receivers stacked to Dante Moore's right, with Davison now on the right hip. And a man coming in motion to make it trips for Oregon. Shotgun snap, handoff up the middle of Jordan Davison, a nice juke move, and he's able to get about 7 on the play before Indiana's safeties come up. Lewis Moore has to trip him up after he got to the original line of scrimmage plus 2. So a 2nd and 8. They're hurrying up. Clock at 1:20 now. Spread formation, trips to the right side, 2 receivers out left. Shotgun snap, now fakes a pass right. He got rushed, pushed out of the pocket. He'll roll to the right, throw across the middle, and incomplete. Jamari Sharp in coverage with Devin Boykin. And the pass was intended for DeCorian Moore.
I was looking, Kellen Wyatt is back on the field for Indiana, which I would not have bet on happening because he looked like he was in bad shape. But that is a good sign for Indiana on that front 4.
Huge sign for IU, but a huge play coming up. 10-10 with 1:10 to play in the second quarter. Oregon's got a 3rd and 8 from the IU 21. Twins to the right, 1 receiver out left. Shotgun formation, wide receiver coming in motion. It's a handoff up the middle on 3rd and 8, and he got stopped at the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up 3 after falling forward, but Stephen Daly was there along with Tyreek Tucker.
No field goal unit yet. Oregon's going to let the... Why is Indiana not calling timeout?
A 4th and 5 now for Indiana, and they will bring that field goal unit out as you say that.
Oregon trying to bleed the clock. Indiana still has 2 timeouts. I guess you want to save them for your offense, but Sappington on, play clock at 16. They're going to get set. Surprised Indiana didn't try to stop the clock.
Yeah. Atticus Sappington out to kick from the 19-yard line. This will be a 36-yarder. He's 1 for 1 today. This will give Oregon the lead if it's good, and it's not. Wide left. Atticus Sappington has struggled this year, and he pushed this one to the left. Just a 36-yarder. We stay tied with 24 seconds to play in the first half. A gift for Indiana.
We talked about it, Ben. We talked about how he's been far from automatic. You think back to that Penn State game late in the second quarter. Sappington missed a 47-yarder. That is a gift. He shanked it. You could hear the crowd reaction. As soon as it left his foot, it was never close. So Indiana now, the question is, what do you want to do? How aggressive do you want to be? 2 timeouts, just 24 seconds, and you get the ball to start the second half. Part of me wonders if Indiana's just going to take a knee and go to the half, because you're backed up. If you turn the ball over, that could be serious trouble. I think Indiana should just take a knee and go to the half, tied at 10.
Here comes the IU offense. Ball on the near side 20-yard line. And again, I think, not taking the timeout might be somewhat punting it. We'll see, though. It's pistol formation. Twins to the right as Mendoza takes the snap. It's a handoff off the left side. A lot of room for Roman Hemby, who gets the first down and is hit hard at the 34-yard line right before going out of bounds. But he got the first down, so that'll stop the clock temporarily at 18 seconds in it.
Well, and he got out of bounds as well, I think. I don't know if they're going to wind the clock.
And it looks like they will not. Yeah, they won't. Stays at 18 seconds, 1st and 10. Mendoza this time fakes the handoff. He's going to look to throw deep. Surratt at the sideline, caught for a first down, and he got out of bounds.
Okay, so 13 seconds. You're at your own 45. You're thinking 1 or 2 more plays, and you're in field goal range. This could be doable for Indiana.
And Indiana takes the timeout. What that tells me is they did not give him the out of bounds.
Okay.
I think the knee went down before Surratt got out. The ball is at Indiana's own 45 with 13 seconds.
You think 13 seconds, it's close. I think in a perfect world, if you're Kurt Signetti, you get into field goal range on this play, and then you're able to call timeout and bring the special teams unit out there. But with only 1 timeout left, now I look like a fool for asking why he didn't call it before that field goal attempt. But if you're Indiana, you're doing a good job. A couple chunk plays there, an 11-yard completion after that 14-yard rush from Hemby. By far the longest rush of the day for Indiana. This is definitely within the realm of possibility, Ben.
They have experimented with bringing out Brendan Frankie for longer kicks. Now with a
45-50 maybe.
Yeah, playing with house money situation where you're going into the half, you're getting the ball back, it's a tie game. maybe you try something like that. Don't know what they've been working on in practice. Offense comes back out to the field from their own 45. 13 seconds to play. Roman Hemby's the back on a first and 10. Two receivers out to the left. Mendoza's shotgun, one to the right, and Hemby's on his right hip. And Wachowski, the tight end, on his left. Chest high snap. He's going to have a 5-step drop back. He's going to lick across the middle. It has nothing. Rolling out to his right off his back foot, and there's a flag in the secondary. And I'll tell you what, they were looking for Roman Hemby, the running back who went deep. That ball didn't get anywhere near Hemby.
No, that's a classic underthrown deep ball where the defender never turns his head, so that's a 15-yard penalty. The problem is you've got 6 seconds left. You do have a timeout, so if you have a quick hitter, something that can push you closer, then the field goal feels like a more sure possibility. From here, it would be a 58-yarder. I don't even think Brendan Frankie can make it from there, but they're going to try.
Yeah. Look at this. It is not Niko Radicic. It is Brendan Frankie. The ball is on the 40-yard line. This is going to be a 57-yard kick. And Indiana will take the timeout with 6 seconds left.
If you can't take it with you. So I'm surprised Oregon doesn't have a man deep, because if you think back to the Old Dominion game, Brendan Frankie attempted a 52-yarder and it hit the crossbar. We've seen him kick from about this distance in warm-ups. You think back to Iowa. I remember him attempting from near midfield there. But Frankie, that was his only field goal attempt this year, if memory serves. And he's usually just been a kickoff specialist in his career. He came over from Texas State. He started at Nebraska and never really been the primary place kicker, but he is Indiana's distance guy. We've seen him boom it through the end zone on kickoffs. He's got the strong leg. I am surprised Oregon does not have a man back deep. You could try to return this.
To give Indiana the lead heading into the locker room. They'll get the ball out of the locker room in the second half. Frankie to make his first kick as an Indiana Hoosier, and now Oregon wants to ice him. Frankie will kick it, and I think this is coming wide left. It is.
It had the distance, though.
It had the distance, which is a good sign for IU. He missed it, though.
I think he made it.
Did he?
Judging by the reaction of the long snapper, Mark Langston, I think he made it. But either way, Frankie took what's effectively a practice kick, so he'll probably try to fade it a little bit more to the right. We saw Niko Radicic do that.
Yeah.
Last week or 2 weeks ago at Iowa. He hooked it back inside. It almost looked like a slider. Came back from inside the right upright. That one definitely had the leg, though.
Well, full disclosure for any radio broadcasts, when you are on the sideline, you cannot tell if the kick is good or not. You tell by the officials' hand signals, the reaction from the crowd. You can tell if it's short or not.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a signal from the officials. That's why we're not sure if it was good or not. And we're going on Langston's snap, and I think it was good. None of that matters right now. Both teams took their timeout. Indiana to take the lead from 57 yards. Snap good, hold is good. Frankie's kick is up. It's got the distance, and he drilled it. Brendan Frankie's first field goal as an Indiana Hoosier puts IU on top, heading into the locker room, 13-10 at number 3 Oregon.
And Ben, that is Brendan Frankie's first career field goal. We talked about it. He's been a kickoff specialist his entire career. He's missed, prior to that, both of the field goals that he's attempted. One, of course, against Old Dominion. One in 2022 when he was at Nebraska. Not bad. A 57-yarder at Autzen Stadium to give your team the lead with 1 second left in the first half.
Important to note, you brought it up. There's still 1 second of the clock.
I think that's pretty good.
Somewhat of a squib here for Indiana, possibly.
Yeah, I think you kick a line drive right down the middle of the field, and ideally it ends up in the hands of somebody who's not used to returning kicks.
Man, oh man, Brendan Frankie.
And of course, you brought it up. Indiana gets the ball to start the second half. This could be a double dip situation. You score twice before Oregon's offense sees the field.
So Frankie, once again, is most of the kickoff specialist, will kick a squib heading out of bounds at the 15. Oh, it takes a nice bounce. It'll be picked up and knelt at the 5-yard line by Jaden Lamar. The number 7 Indiana Hoosiers have come into Autzen Stadium. They take a 13-10 lead to the locker room and will get the ball out of the break. Kurt Cignetti's defense And the special teams is winning this game for IU.
Absolutely incredible. About as even of a first half, Ben, as you will find. Now, the numbers do not necessarily bear that out. The numbers a little bit in Oregon's favor, but you got to consider, Ben, that that Indiana did not play a perfect half of football by any means.
No.
A lot of pre-snap penalties, a lot of self-inflicted mistakes that either shortened drives on offense or extended drives defensively, and you still come out with the lead. It's going to be a fun final 30 minutes, I'll tell you that much.
You got a fun second half of play-by-play. Nick Rodecap has it for the second half and the fun finish of this one. The second half is where, the third quarter really is where things have gone south for Indiana in their big games and big environments. They're trying to flip that narrative today.
Well, but I would counter by saying that neither of those games that were lopsided were particularly close at halftime.
It's true.
You kind of felt like they were trending in the wrong direction, and they had been for most of the first half. That is not the case here. So this is truly uncharted territory for Indiana. It's going to be chaotic, but that's kind of the spirit of the old Pac-12, right? Chaotic football.
Well, barring late season collapse, Indiana with a win can basically punch their ticket
House money
to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of football left to be played, 15 or 30 minutes to be exact. We'll step aside for halftime. Again, a 13-10 Indiana lead over number 3 Oregon here in Eugene. You do not want to miss this second half on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports.
Back here at Autzen Stadium, alongside Ben Haller, I'm Nick Rodecap. We've got a good one, at least if the first 30 minutes are any indication. Indiana leading Oregon 13-10, and Ben, the numbers don't bear it out, but Indiana playing extremely well. Despite some pre-snap penalties, some self-inflicted mistakes, they went into the locker room with the lead on the back of Brendan Frankie's first career field goal, a 57-yard bomb with 1 second left on the clock.
Yeah, it certainly is. We talked about it off there. I mean, there's so many implications of that single field goal by Brendan Frankie. I mean, as much as you like it, you don't like it. When it comes to college football, in vouching for your teams and resumes and how much of it is kind of just narratives, being able to say that you went into halftime with a lead at number 3 Oregon, that's going to be huge no matter what happens in the next 15 minutes. Now, obviously, the biggest thing is you have a 3-point advantage with the ball coming out of the break with a chance to actually beat the number 3 team in the country at their road place. Look, it's going to be a game for the defense. I'll tell you what, I think we've seen from the offense that this is just a really good Oregon defense. The secondary is not going to let much up. But Indiana's shown the capability to time and time again come up with big stops on second and third. There have been a lot of just single drive stalling plays for Oregon, whether it's a penalty, whether it's kind of just a broken play that they have to throw out of bounds, whether it's a sack. I mean, those are plays that Indiana's been able to force, and they've been able to take advantage. And
the defensive front seven for Indiana. Oregon, and this kind of sounds like the Nebraska pregame last year when Nebraska had not allowed a rushing touchdown all year, and then Indiana, I think, rushed for 4 or 5.
4, yeah.
Yeah. Before this game, Oregon had allowed 1 sack all year. Indiana got 2 in the first half. Dante Moore, 11 for 17, 123 yards and a touchdown. Also adding, well, he's been sacked twice, so the rushing yards are a little bit deflated. But overall, Oregon outgaining Indiana 203 to 165. Fernando Mendoza, 67% completion percentage. 10 for 15 with 110 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. His leading receivers, well, no surprise here. Omar Cooper, 5 catches for 44 yards, and Elijah Surratt, 4 catches for 60 yards. As we've got some rain falling here at Autzen Stadium, and the wind has picked up considerably as Indiana comes back out onto the field. And Ben, I am surprised because for Oregon, we talked about it before the broadcast. Their edge rusher, Mateo Uyunglele, has basically been a non-factor. I mean, this is a guy who is graded as a potential first-round NFL draft pick next year, and he has gone really completely quiet through the first 30 minutes. Indiana's offensive line, there were some questions about how well they could hold up, but so far, so good for Indiana. I think Mendoza's been sacked once, but overall, a really good job of Indiana in pass protection, especially on that final drive. Indiana was able to move the ball into field goal range very quickly to take the lead, getting something out of seemingly nothing.
Yeah, Uyunglele, we thought was going to be a big factor. It'd be interesting to see. It would be interesting before the game to see who he was lined up against. We saw a little bit of both on both tackles, Khalil Benson and Carter Smith. We also saw Zed Michalski got a little bit of playing time in that first half, too. There was some switching out of Benson and Michalski at the right tackle position. But overall, they've done a really good job handling him. I mean, he led the Big Ten in sacks in the regular season a season ago. So I think the ability to limit him has been huge. I also think the ability to limit the Oregon running game, they're not running the ball quite as much as I really thought they were going to, and I think that's because of how much push they're getting up front from that front seven. That's been the big key to the defense for them. It's another week in the 2025 season, another week Isaiah Jones is making big plays, who continues to be one of the best surprises of the season for Indiana football. And another one, too, Mario Landino's made a couple of nice plays. He came into the year as kind of that fringe second-string defensive tackle. He's made some huge plays. And
it's a good point going back to Mario Landino. I mean, this is a guy coming out of high school. He was under-recruited across the board. But he, and in the middle as well, Hosea Wheeler and Tyreek Tucker have been huge. This is an Oregon offense that averages 239 rushing yards per game. That's second in the Big Ten. Indiana first at 268 rushing yards per game entering today. Oregon, though, in that first half, rushing for just 80 yards overall. Indiana, 55 rush yards. Really, neither team has been consistent at running the football, at least through the first 30 minutes. The Hoosiers will get the ball first as we begin this second half. Oregon, despite this being a yellow out at Autzen Stadium, wearing black jerseys with green pants and green helmets. Indiana in the road whites with the red helmets, the IU Trident on both sides. Atticus Sappington, the Oregon kicker, who missed a field goal late in the second quarter, will kick off, moving left to right. Indiana getting the ball as the Hoosiers won the coin toss and deferred, so a chance to double dip and score twice before Oregon's offense steps back onto the field again. Sappington's got the ball teed up. A little bit of rain showers came through. They have subsided very briefly. It's a cold October day here in the Pacific Northwest. Temperatures in the 40s when we woke up this morning, up into the mid-50s now. 30 minutes to decide this one. A top 10 matchup at Autzen Stadium. Sappington sends the ball end over end and through the back of the end zone. A touchback, and Indiana takes over 1st and 10 at its own 25, leading 13-10 as we start the second half.
And here comes that Indiana offense that I think what you've seen with Oregon is single play or drive stalling plays. Indiana, it's been more inconsistencies. So they just haven't had those big plays that Oregon's had.
Big part of why Indiana behind the chains a few times. A lot of pre-snap penalties.
Yeah.
1st and 10, ball in the left hash. Indiana at its own 25. Mendoza in the pistol. 2 receivers close to the line of scrimmage. Shotgun snap. Mendoza hands off to Roman Hemby, who is swallowed up in the backfield. Bear Alexander and Blake Purchase getting a good push off the line of scrimmage, and Indiana is behind the chain. That one, a loss of 3. It'll set up 2nd down and 13.
Oregon ready for it. And again, this is not a front seven that you really want to play with. They haven't really had the best numbers on there when it comes to sacks, but they could stop the run really well.
Oregon not a team that blitzes a lot, perhaps why the sack numbers are so far down. Hoosiers break the huddle. Mendoza with Hemby to his right. 2 receivers far side right, 1 to the near side left. Hemby now motions to the left side of Mendoza. Lifts his leg, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws across the middle, and the ball was batted at the line of scrimmage, nearly intercepted. Mendoza looking for Elijah Surratt on the slant. I think it was Tatum Tuioti who got his hand on that ball.
Yeah, it was. And Indiana trying for a couple of quick hitters to start things off. They might think that the crowd's getting to them a little bit, and this is a big play.
Autzen Stadium rocking once again, one of the loudest places in the country. 3rd and 13. Indiana at its own 22. First possession, second half, leading Oregon 13-10. Mendoza in the gun, Hemby to his left. They show blitz, they bring it. It's a toss play to Hemby, who does not get the edge. He is swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. A tackle for loss, and Indiana goes 3 and out on its first possession of this second half. Bryce Betcher, the 2-sport athlete, the converted safety, an MLB draftee. This guy's a great athlete. He shows why, pursuing Hemby, tackling him, and Indiana 4th and 11 from the 24. Well, first drive of the second half, -1 yard on 3 plays, and the Hoosiers have to punt.
Yeah, Hemby had a little bit of room, too. If Betcher didn't get him from behind, kind of a last-second shoestring, there might have been a chance to make it close.
Mark Langston on to punt, or excuse me, that's Mitch McCarthy on to punt. He sends it high into the air toward the far sideline. It's fair caught at the 34-yard line by Gary Bryant Jr. That is where Oregon will take over for its first possession of the second half. That Indiana drive out of the break took less than 90 seconds, and the Hoosiers went 3 and out. McCarthy having to boot it away. Timeout on the field, we'll take it with him. 13:38 left. Third quarter here from Autzen Stadium. Indiana leads Oregon 13-10. The Ducks get the ball when we come back on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Back here at Autzen Stadium, getting set for Oregon's first offensive possession of this second half. Hoosiers leading the Ducks 13-10 as Indiana looks for its first statement win against one of college football's elite. Alongside Ben Howler, I'm Nick Rodecap. We thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. Ben, Indiana's first drive of the second half, 3 plays, -1 yard. Now the Oregon quarterback Dante Moore can lead his offense down the field and perhaps give them the lead.
You've played well, but you're playing at the number 3 Oregon Ducks spot. I mean, this is going to be an uphill climb. It does not feel like a game in which you are winning. The play probably has to pick up in the second half. You would think Oregon's going to clean up a lot of their mistakes. It's not a great sign to start things off, but look, none of it really matters if Oregon's offense can't get anything going.
Oregon breaking huddle, 1st and 10, ball on the left hash at its own 35-yard line. Dante Moore under center, brings his wide receiver Gary Bryant Jr. tight to the line of scrimmage on the right side. Moore takes the snap. It's a stretch play. He fakes the handoff, now throws back to the right. Pass is caught by Kenyon Sadiq, the big tight end, and he rumbles forward past the 40-yard line before he's forced out of bounds by Amari Farrell at the 48-yard line. So one play, and Oregon already up near midfield, 1st and 10. Clock ticking, 13:20 left, third quarter. Ball on the right hash now after the catch and run by Kenyon Sadiq. First time we've said his name today. Dante Moore in the pistol, the tailback De'Air Hill Jr. Man in motion coming left to right. It's a toss play to DeCorian Moore running right. He does not get the edge. He's forced backwards by a gang of Indiana tacklers just outside the 50-yard line numbers. Lewis Moore was the first one there. Maybe they give him 4 yards on that play. I thought it was closer to the line of scrimmage, but a 4-yard rush for DeCorian Moore on the jet sweep.
Yeah, I think there's been a forward motion. Lewis Moore laid down a pretty big hit, but they're going to say he got up.
Dante Moore under center once again, 2nd and 6, 12:40 left. Third quarter, Oregon trailing by 3. One receiver out wide to the left, a couple near side right, close to the line of scrimmage. Running back Hill goes in motion out to the left. Moore takes the snap, pressured. He escapes the pocket to his right. Moore tackled out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage as flags fly. On the scene, Elijah Hardy will get credit for the sack, but there was a hold as well against the Ducks. And they got Alex Harkey for the hold. So that's a 10-yard penalty that erases, effectively, all the yardage on this drive for Oregon. So it'll be 2nd and 16. And, Ben, we talked about those drive-killing penalties. Yeah. This might be one of them.
Well, Harkey tackled Kellen Wyatt, again, which we've touched on back into the game is a great sign for Indiana. But that's about as obvious as it gets. The referee called it. The umpire called it on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Yeah, those are drive killers. I think Oregon has responded a little better to these penalties than Indiana has.
And Indiana has declined the penalty. I kind of figured they would, because it was a sack that now sets up what will be about a 3rd down and 11, it looks like.
It's all right here.
So you credit Elijah Hardy with the sack. Now on 3rd down, and they have not moved the ball marker
12,
back.
11 or 12.
Yeah. The referee's trying to get things sorted out. Indiana initially accepted the penalty, and then Kurt Signetti was talking to the side judge, I think trying to decline it. Oregon fans don't like it. Our head referee, Jeff Cervinsky, has a lot to sort out here.
There's a lot to figure out. Cervinsky doesn't look like he knows what's going on. He's the white cap.
Now he nods his head, points at Signetti, and it will be 3rd down and 11. Oregon at its own 47-yard line here. Noah Whittington, the tailback, to the left side of Dante Moore. 2 receivers and a tight end split out left, 1 receiver near side right. Moore in the shotgun, 3rd down and 12. A chance for Indiana to get off the field. Moore, quick screen pass out to the far side. Indiana rallies to the wide receiver. Gary Bryant Jr. had very little space after the catch. Aiden Fisher first on the scene, brings him down just past the 50-yard line. And Oregon now 4th and 8 from midfield. Dan Lanning sending the punt team out there.
Yeah, Fisher really snuffed that out. Look, we talked about the penalties being drive killers. They didn't accept the penalty there. That's a really good stop for the defense and a good response after the first initial play where they picked up 15, 16 yards.
So James Ferguson Reynolds standing on the left hash at his own 36, ready to punt it away. Jonathan Brady, the Indiana punt returner, back at his own 9-yard line, ready to receive. Ferguson Reynolds awaits. Here's the snap. He rolls right. It looks like a fake. Now he boots a line drive punt late. This ball rolling, and it's a perfect Oregon bounce down inside the 5 by Dylan Thieneman. It looks like Indiana's offense is going to have to go 98 yards. It was a rugby-style rollout punt. It was not off of his foot cleanly, but it took a perfect Oregon bounce.
I'll tell you what, Ferguson Reynolds, just a high IQ play. They give him that capability. We've seen it a couple of times. When you're the punter and you have a side of the field where there's nobody really rushing, I mean, there's a wide varying kind or levels of pressure that someone could bring on a punt. Indiana brought none, so he just took as much time and space as he needed before booting it away.
So Indiana will have possession 1st and 10 at its own 2-yard line at one of the loudest places to play in college football. We'll take a quick break. 13-10 Indiana over Oregon. 11:25 left, third quarter. You're listening to Indiana football on WIUX, your home for Hoosier sports. Back here at Autzen Stadium, 11:25 left, third quarter. Indiana leading Oregon 13-10 in a battle of top 10 Big Ten teams that will have massive postseason implications. Alongside Ben Howler, I'm Nick Rodecat. Thank you for joining us, Ben. Perfect punt right before the break from James Ferguson Reynolds pins Indiana at its own 2-yard line in the shadow of the goalposts and a lot of rowdy Oregon fans.
Yeah, it's not a great spot for Indiana to be in, and after the 3 and out, you start to have your worries about the offensive side of things, but the 3 and out defensively is a great sign. I just think you need to slow down a little bit. They tried to go with that quick run that immediately blew up the drive from the first play of the game, 3-yard drive again behind the sticks.
That first drive for Indiana out of the halftime break. 3 plays, -1 yard. Fernando Mendoza brings the offense onto the field. The Autzen Stadium faithful making noise, as they often do. 98 yards to pay dirt for Indiana. This is going to need to be a very methodical drive if the Hoosiers want to move the ball downfield in any way, shape, or form. Hoosiers break huddle. 2 receivers, 1 spread to either side, 2 tight ends in the formation. Hemby the back to the left of Mendoza. Ducks show blitz, and it's a fake handoff. They throw near side. Elijah Surratt harassed, and the pass is incomplete. Covered by Ife Obadegu. A lot of hand fighting going on in there, but I think it went both ways.
They're going to let that go today. I mean, I think we've seen that it's going to take a lot to get some sort of penalty there. I think there has to be Surratt fighting back a little bit because there's been a couple where I would think if they're not going to call it, there's got to be going both ways.
2nd down and 10, 11:22 left, third quarter. Hoosiers in the shadow of their own goalposts at their own 2-yard line. Mendoza in the gun, Hemby to his right. 3 receivers in the formation. Mendoza takes the snap. It's a handoff to Hemby running straight ahead, and he is tackled almost immediately by Bear Alexander, the USC transfer. Hemby got maybe 2 yards. Indiana behind schedule once again. 3rd and long coming up.
The first plays of the drives have been what's hurting Indiana. We talked about the last play. I get what they're trying to do, throwing for the sticks, but they're just not having a lot of success, anything more than 5-7 yards downfield.
3rd down and 8, Indiana. Ball on the left hash at its own 4-yard line. 3 receivers in the formation, 2 far side right, 1 near side left. Hemby to the right of Mendoza in the backfield. Mendoza takes the snap, pressure in his face, fires toward the sideline, and it's incomplete again. Surratt looked like he was being tackled before the ball got there, but Ife Obadegu once again keeps Surratt from making a play. I think Surratt wanted pass interference, and he may have had a case.
Look, Obadegu, he knows what he's trying to do, is just make as much contact as possible. Actually, I think there was more contact on the other one of the first down play. Surratt more fighting for saying it was a completion and not incomplete.
So Mitch McCarthy punting out of the back of his own end zone here on 4th down and 8. A daunting task for the Australian. Mark Langston, the snapper, sends it back, and McCarthy gets it away. It's an end-over-end kick, a short kick. And from the 45, Gary Bryant Jr. makes his move. He's up past the 40. Charlie Becker there to meet him. And Oregon has fantastic field position, Ben. The Ducks will take over from Indiana's 38-yard line, 1st and 10.
Yeah, obviously not a good punt. You can't really blame him on that, though. Talk about the big games and big environments Indiana's played in the Sugatti era. Go back to the Ohio State game where James Evans dropped a punt that ended up leading to an Ohio State touchdown that I think it took the lead at the time on the dropped punt. Those are the kinds of plays you don't want. So for McCarthy, just getting the ball off as quick as possible with your heels on the back of the end zone.
So Dante Moore breaks huddle. The tailback to his right is Jaden Lamar. Moore in the shotgun. 3 receivers stacked to the far side left. Now one comes in motion, joining him in the backfield. It's Jordan Davison. Moore fakes the handoff to Davison, throws far side out to DeCorian Moore on a screen pass, but he is met by a tandem of Indiana tacklers, Amari Farrell and Isaiah Jones there. It'll be a gain of 2. 2nd down and 8 for Oregon from the Indiana 35.
I have been really impressed with Indiana's ability to gang tackle today. I mean, it feels like every single play there's 2 or 3 guys making a play. I've also loved, not today, but in this year as a whole, is just the open field tackling. So combining those two, it's always huge.
De'Aaron Hill and Jordan Davison in the backfield now with Moore. One tailback to Moore's right side, the other in the pistol behind him. Hill Jr. is the tailback. 2 receivers near side left, a tight end in the formation as well. Moore hands it off, running right. It's De'Aaron Hill, and he is tackled in the backfield. Isaiah Jones makes another big play. Jones now, you take that sack that he made earlier in the game, he's up to a team best 10 tackles for loss this season.
He's been unbelievable this year. There's no other way to put it. There have been struggles with him in coverage, but when it comes to stopping the run and getting in the backfield, I don't know if there's been many guys better in the Big Ten than Isaiah Jones. He wasn't supposed to be a starter coming into the year.
3rd down and 9. Oregon at the Indiana 37. 9:20 left, 3rd quarter. The Ducks trailing the Hoosiers 13-10. Empty set, 3 receivers left. 2 receivers near side right. Moore takes the snap, pressure coming. He fires deep down the field over everybody's head and incomplete. He was looking for DeCorian Moore. Devin Boykin in on the coverage, but Indiana sent plenty of pressure, and the Hoosiers have had no trouble getting home.
Mikhail Kamara didn't get touched, I don't think. That's, again, credit to Bryant Haynes and his scheme defensively. And this is an interesting call for Oregon. We saw this with Indiana a little earlier. It's a 4th and long, but you're kind of in 4-down territory. You're probably not going to kick. Oregon will go for this.
Ball on the 37-yard line. 4th and 9 for Oregon, and the Ducks are going for it. Moore in the shotgun. Tailback to his right is De'Aaron Hill Jr. 3 receivers stacked up far side left, 1 near side to the right. Moore takes the snap, drops back. He throws over the middle, and he's got the 1st down, connecting with Jeremiah McClellan, who sat in a soft spot in the Indiana coverage, and he picked up plenty past the sticks before Amari Farrell brought him down.
I mean, those are the type of big plays that change games right there. You have him in a 4th and 9. And a really smart play by Dan Lanning.
Ducks going up-tempo. Moore in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, throws toward the end zone. He's looking for McClellan again, but he overthrew him. D'Angelo Pons in coverage there.
Again, some contact downfield. This time I thought McClellan kind of led it on the offensive side of things. No call. I don't think there should have been an OPI necessarily, but I think McClellan wanted a DPI when he initiated most of the contact.
That ball was so far overthrown, I don't know that it was even catchable. Ball between the hashes. Oregon at Indiana's 24-yard line. 2nd down and 10. 8:38 remaining 3rd quarter. The Ducks trying to at least tie this game. They trail 13-10. Moore breaks huddle in the pistol. Jordan Davison is the tailback. 2 receivers, 1 to either side, and 2 tight ends in the formation as well. A handoff running right is Davison, and he falls forward to about the 20 before he's tackled. Elijah Hardy in on the stop for Indiana, and another chance for the Hoosiers to force a decision on 4th down. Here, this is 3rd and 6.
Yeah. Well, they've been great on 3rd down defensively today, Indiana has. Both teams really have. And, again, the 4th downs just become so crucial, and being aggressive with Lanning.
Moore in the shotgun. Davison to his right. 3 receivers, far side left. 1 to the near side. Ball on the 20-yard line. Oregon needs to get to the 14. Play clock at 8. Dante Moore motions his tailback further toward the near side. He takes the snap, looking underneath. He fires it to Davison, who is met immediately by Lewis Moore. He wrestles him toward the middle of the field. And there's the 3rd down stop, but Dan Lanning has been aggressive on these 4th and shorts. This time, though, they're going to bring the field goal unit out.
And they're going to try Atticus Sappington, who missed one from, 37 yards, I think it was?
And he shanked it. It wasn't close. This one with the ball on the 16, Sappington set up for what will be a 34-yard attempt right between the hashes, trying to tie us at 13.
It's about as down the middle as it gets. Sometimes kickers don't like that, though.
Ferguson Reynolds to hold. Sappington is ready. The snap is back. The hold is down. The kick on the way, end over end, and right through the uprights. And we are starting over with 7:10 left in this third quarter. Indiana and Oregon knotted at 13. It's a 33-yard field goal for Atticus Sappington. That drive, 8 plays, 22 yards, and just 3:19. But set up was the field goal opportunity by that 4th down and long conversion. And you feel like if you're Indiana, you missed an opportunity to hold Oregon scoreless on that possession.
We certainly did. I also, you kind of give and take. It was set up not in a very good spot either, heading to punt from the heels of the back of your own end zone. They got the drive started in plus territory. So I think that considered, you're happy again holding them to 3 points. Now, there's a couple times you're happy holding them to 3 points. You got to miss a field goal, too, a pretty close one. At some point, though, if you're not scoring offensively, holding them to 3 points isn't going to be enough.
Exactly, and if your defense can't get a breather because the offense can't sustain drives, that is going to play a factor later as well. Timeout on the field here at Autzen Stadium, 7:10 remaining third quarter. We're tied at 13 between Indiana and Oregon here on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Back here at Autzen Stadium, we are tied at 13, Oregon and Indiana, in a battle of Big Ten unbeatens. 7:10 left in this third quarter. Oregon just made a 33-yard field goal to even the score, and Ben Howler, we are starting over once again. Feels like Indiana has had nothing offensively so far in the second half.
No, they haven't. I mean, it feels like that just because they haven't. They haven't gotten a first down yet in the first, 7 minutes and 50 seconds of the quarter. And I'll tell you what, I think I mentioned it before, the first play of the drive sets the tone so much. The first time out to start this half off, they had a 3-yard loss on a carry. Last time out of incompletion, they tried to throw for the sticks. And I think the field position plays a part. They were all the way back to their own 2-yard line last time out.
Atticus Sappington, the man who made that field goal to tie the game, will kick off, moving left to right. The deep men for Indiana, Roman Hemby and Solomon Van Horst, but I don't think we've seen a kick return from either team in this game yet. Both kickers, Sappington and Brendan Franke, touchback machines so far. Sappington's got the ball teed up. He's approaching, and he sends it high into the air, right between the hashes, and both returnmen say, you know what, I'll let that go. It's a touchback. So Indiana taking over, 1st and 10 from its own 25. You talked about it, Ben, 2 3-and-outs to start the second half. That's got to change.
It has to, and I would like to see them maybe try to I like to play action more, I think, is the biggest thing. Like, there hasn't really been any issue with Mendoza getting the ball out. I think he's gotten enough time today. You have the ability to play action.
It's a question of whether or not he can execute it here. Mendoza in the shotgun, 2 receivers stacked to the right. Surratt, the lone man, near side left. The tailback is Kalen Black. The handoff goes to him. He's got to run a long way, trying to get the edge on the left side. But he is met just past the line of scrimmage by Bryce Betcher as he hustles out of bounds. Maybe a gain of 1. Not much there.
Boy, oh boy, Pat Coogan let the nose tackle, I think it was Amari Washington, go right through there, who had his hand on Black, which could have been detrimental on the first drive. Got lucky there.
Hoosiers break huddle, 2nd down and 9. Ball on the near side hash at the 26-yard line. 3 receivers right, 1 at the near side left. Kalen Black is the tailback with Mendoza. Shotgun snap, pressure in his face. He throws over the middle, incomplete. Intended for E.J. Williams. And a flag flew in from the secondary late. In on the coverage there was Jaden Kennedy, the nickelback.
This might be one of those makeup calls here, Dick.
I wonder if Williams was getting his waist grabbed there as he was trying to make a play on the ball. And they got, I think, Ife Obadegu there.
Did they? Well,
yeah, they got Obadegu for pass interference. But I think they called it on the wrong guy.
They called it on the wrong guy.
Yeah.
It's either, because if it's PI, then it can't be Obadegu.
It should have been on Kennedy. He had Williams, I think, by the waist. So instead of 3rd and long, Indiana moves up 15 yards. Now 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Hoosiers not in plus territory just yet, but that penalty moves the chains.
Sometimes that's all you need to get a drive started and get a little bit of momentum.
Mendoza in the shotgun. Kalen Black is the tailback. 2 receivers near side left, 1 to the right. Mendoza lifts his leg, fakes the handoff, throws underneath. He's got Omar Cooper there. And a nice gain on 1st down before Cooper is brought down by Kennedy. We'll call it 5, so 2nd and manageable here. Indiana seemingly finally on schedule to start this second half on offense.
It's interesting. We talk about so many guys who we haven't really heard their names called yet. E.J. Williams is one until that pass interference that we hadn't really heard yet. Sometimes just getting those guys involved is so crucial. Omar Cooper, a big play there too.
Mendoza in the shotgun. Kalen Black to his left. Tight end Nowakowski on the line of scrimmage. Now Black goes into the pistol behind Mendoza. He wants the snap. He gets it head high. Handoff to Kalen Black running left, and he is met almost immediately again, but he's able to fight his way forward before being brought down by Tatum Tuioti, the son of Oregon's D-line coach. So now 3rd down and 3 for Indiana. The Hoosiers at their own the Hoosiers at their own 44, needing to get to the 47. 5:33 left, third quarter. We are tied at 13. This Autzen Stadium crowd so loud.
This might be the loudest it gets. Every drive, it just keeps getting more and more important.
Mendoza in the shotgun, 2 receivers to either side. Roman Hemby, the tailback, to his left, looking at a 4-man front. Mendoza wants the snap. He gets it. He looks, and he's going to run straight up the middle. He's got the first down past midfield, rumbling to the 47 before he's brought down by Jerry Mixon. Ben, that's not the first time today that we've seen Fernando Mendoza take off and run straight up the gut.
No, those are 2 of the biggest plays that Fernando Mendoza's made this game. Just those decisions to run up the middle. You have to make a split decision when you see that you have that opening, because some of these defensive linemen nowadays are so quick, they can close that gap quickly.
So now Indiana in plus territory at the Oregon 47, 1st and 10. Under 5 minutes to go, third quarter. Mendoza barking out instructions at the line of scrimmage. Now back into the pistol he goes. Takes the snap, hands it off to Roman Hemby, running right. He's got a crease outside the numbers, tripped up as he stumbles past the 40. Looks like he could have ripped that for 15 or more. Instead, he'll have to settle for a gain of 9. Blake Purchase in there on the tackle.
Blake Purchase made a potentially touchdown-saving tackle, which is crazy to say from the spot Hemby was in, but he had a lot of room.
Indiana going quickly now, 2nd and 1, maybe a chance to take a shot. Mendoza takes the snap, throws toward the boundary, left side. He's got Elijah Surratt. Forced out of bounds at the 28-yard line, moved the chains. Ife Obadegu there to force Surratt out of bounds, but now Indiana really moving the ball.
We haven't seen him go hurry up a lot this year. This is really interesting to see, and now they'll finally slow things down.
Hoosiers huddling here. 1st and 10, ball on the Oregon 28-yard line. Indiana looking to break this 13-13 tie with the Ducks. 3:49 and counting left in this third quarter. Ball on the left hash. Tight end in the formation is Nowakowski. Everybody close to the line of scrimmage. Hemby, the tailback, to Mendoza's right side. And they toss it to Omar Cooper on a reverse. He stumbles, and he's swallowed up in the backfield. Tatum Tuioti snuffed that one out. Very disciplined, staying in his lane. And he brings down Cooper for a loss of 5 yards.
That is prime defensive end play by Tatum Tuioti. On a reverse, you're not supposed to get full to the defensive end because you're not really supposed to leave. He was exactly where he needed to be. The reverse happened maybe a little too quick to really fool him.
So now you back it up to the 33, 2nd and 15. Ball on the left hash, Hemby the tailback. 2 receivers left. Now Nowakowski motions to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers far side right. Mendoza takes the snap, looking over the middle. Through his progressions, he checks it down in the flat to Hemby. Makes a man miss. He's got space down the sideline, inside the 10, before he's tackled by Brandon Finney. Roman Hemby on the check down. Made the first man miss, got to the second level, and all of a sudden, Ben, Indiana inside the red area right at the 10. So 1st and goal, depending on the exact spot. And I think it is 1st and goal for Indiana.
Yeah, Jerry Mixon just missed the tackle. I mean, that is a huge miss for Oregon. They've been so good at tackling today.
4 receivers in the formation, 2 to either side. Hemby the tailback to Mendoza's right. Mendoza takes the snap. He's looking end zone. He's got Surratt, and there's the flag. Obadegu made contact as Surratt was trying to break out on that route, but Surratt and Obadegu got tangled up. And this might be the 2nd pass interference penalty of this drive.
There's no debate about this one. Obadegu, no argument. This is where it gets interesting. They've let him play today. Obadegu's got increasingly more and more handsy. At some point, you're going to go too far. I mean, it's just kind of natural human nature.
And it is pass interference on Ife Obadegu. So now the ball moves up to the 2-yard line. Of course, an automatic first down. Obadegu, the redshirt freshman out of Baltimore. Dan Lanning says he can be a special player, but his youth perhaps getting the worst for him there.
Well, they got to worry about that in their secondary. All 3 of their 5 starting secondary members, either true or redshirt freshmen.
So Mendoza and the Hoosiers hurry up to the line. It's a heavy set. Mendoza under center from the 2. Handoff Hemby, pushing straight ahead. He's into the end zone, and Indiana has the lead. It's Hemby's second rushing touchdown of the day. He didn't have any in an Indiana uniform before this game, but the Hoosiers now lead 19-13 with 2:16 left in the third quarter. A 2-yard touchdown run by Roman Hemby to cap a 9-play, 75-yard drive.
Nick, that's the second Roman Hemby touchdown where he ran through Dylan Thieneman. Both times it's the Purdue transfer. He ran through him in Westfield native.
Nico Radicic on for the extra point to make it a 20-13 Indiana lead. The snap is back, the hold down, and the kick is true into the All-State Good Hands net. And with 2:16 left on the clock in this third quarter, Indiana finally finding some rhythm on offense here in the second half. A methodical drive, taking advantage of some Oregon penalties. And we'll take a quick break here from Autzen Stadium. Indiana 20, Oregon 13 here on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Welcome back to Autzen Stadium. Indiana visiting Eugene, Oregon for the first time since 2004 when it beat Oregon. And Ben Haller with 2:16 left in the third quarter. The Hoosiers lead 20-13. Now it's up to the defense to really stay hot. This Oregon offense has also been stagnant to really since the first quarter.
Yeah, this is a huge turning point now for Indiana. We talked about it. The offense had nothing going. You finally put together a really good drive. The theme of this broadcast and this game has been about how do you respond. So the question is, what can Oregon do to respond? If Indiana can keep that defense consistent and hold steady, that is a good sign moving forward.
Hoosiers kicking off after the touchdown. A 2-yard scamper from Roman Hemby. His second rushing touchdown on the day gave the Hoosiers the lead. Brendan Franke kicking off, moving right to left. This ball lands out of the back of the end zone. Another touchback. No chance for Jaden Lamar or Noah Whittington to return. So Dante Moore and the Oregon offense taking over, 1st and 10 from their own 25, trailing by 7.
Yeah, this is a really important spot, too. It feels like such a back-against-the-wall moment for Oregon. Usually doesn't feel this way in this low scoring of a game, but I think if Indiana offense has figured out any sort of rhythm, they need to score here.
So Moore and the Ducks break huddle, 1st and 10 from their own 25, ball on the left hash. Noah Whittington, the tailback. Moore in the shotgun, Whittington to his left. Man in motion, settles on the left side, and Moore takes the snap, hands off Whittington. He's got a burst running left past the 30, powering up to the 31 before he's brought down by Elijah Hardy. So a good run of 6 yards. Both of these teams doing pretty well running the ball. Oregon over 5 yards a carry on the afternoon. Now the Ducks going quickly here. They've huddled very little in this game.
No, Indiana's defense has not seen a lot of huddles this year. We talked about it earlier.
Moore in the shotgun, Whittington to his right. Man comes in motion toward the backfield. Moore takes the snap, a handoff to Whittington, powering forward again, and he's met by a gang of Indiana tacklers, Aiden Fisher and Lewis Moore among them. It sets up 3rd down and 1 from the 34 here with 1:33 left in the third quarter. Oregon trailing by 7.
These 3rd and shorts is where Indiana have been really good today defensively, which is weird when an offense is averaging 5 yards per carry.
Moore in the gun, 3 receivers spread to the near side right. De'Aaron Hill, or should I say Noah Whittington, is the back. He motions to the sideline and stops. 13 seconds on the play clock. Miscommunication, a QB sneak, and Dante Moore's got the first down.
Wow, we fell for it. That was not miscommunication. I think that was a full dig. Both him and the wide receiver Malik Benson were palms up, looking at the sideline, not ready to play. And Aiden Fisher, you even saw on the replay, was confused too, calling out things to his defense. That worked perfectly. Some Dan Lanning bag of tricks.
So Moore sneaks it up to the 38-yard line, 1st and 10 for Oregon. The tailback is Whittington. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 to the right, 2 to the left. Moore takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws far side. The pass is broken up. It was intended for Malik Benson. And in on the coverage, Jamari Sharp. Oregon fans want a flag, and Ben, they're not going to get it.
If a couple of those earlier ones aren't called a flag, that's not being called a flag.
Indiana.
That's really good coverage from Sharp.
Indiana had an egregious no call that led to Kurt Signetti getting a sideline warning. This one could probably go either way, but if the one against Oregon was not called, then no surprise, that was not called either.
It's really close to being simultaneous, but that's really good coverage from Jamari Sharp.
He was picked on against Iowa 2 weeks ago. Two tailbacks flanking Dante Moore. 2nd down and 10 with 34 seconds left in the third quarter. Handoff to Dier. Hill running left, and he is met in the backfield. Elijah Hardy with the tackle for loss. And Oregon behind the sticks. It'll be 3rd down and a mile after what is likely the final play of this third quarter.
Enough cannot be said about what the front seven of Indiana has done this game.
They have gotten so much push.
So many drive stalling plays for Oregon's offense because of the defensive line and their ability to get push up front. And Isaiah Jones making some nice plays in the linebacker position too. They'll let it run it out.
And, Ben, you hear the cheers from the IU fans to our left as the clock hits 0 in the third quarter. Oregon behind the sticks. When we come out of the break, it'll be 3rd and 11. Oregon on its own 37-yard line. 20-13, Indiana leads, looking to make a massive statement on the road here in Autzen Stadium, where Oregon has not lost since Michael Penix led Washington over the Ducks in 2022. We'll take a quick break, folks. Don't go anywhere for the final 15 minutes of regulation. You're listening to IU Football on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Back here at Autzen Stadium, they're shouting, which means it's time for the fourth quarter. See some of the Indiana fans and players getting hyped up down there, and why not? Coming out of the quarter break, Oregon behind the chains. It'll be 3rd and 11. The Ducks at their own 37-yard line, trailing Indiana 20-13. And the Duck fans getting loud, even though it's their offense that's on the field. But Ben Haller, Indiana has a chance to force Oregon to punt, go down, and go up 2 scores, which neither team has led by 2 scores in this game. A massive play coming here on 3rd and 11.
The biggest play of the game, simply put, you don't think they were going to punt in this scenario. If they get close, or you don't think they're going to go for it, but if they get close, though, they make things interesting.
2 receivers spread to the right side of the line of scrimmage, 1 near side left. Tailback to Dante Moore's left side, 4 or 5 yards beyond the quarterback. Moore takes a shotgun snap, pressure off the edge. Kellen Wyatt is there, and he's got him. Tackled back at the 34-yard line. Wyatt was down face first in the turf earlier in this game. He sacks Dante Moore, the 3rd sack of the afternoon for Indiana's defense. And Ben, Oregon's got a punt. I think I hear some boos.
There's some boos. There's some who's your chance. And I don't know if anyone's having a better game today than Bryant Haynes. Some of the responses out of breaks, out of timeouts, some of the blitzes and packages they've shown on 3rd down, Bryant Haynes is having one heck of a game.
4th and 15. James Ferguson Reynolds, the Australian, on to punt. Indiana sends the punt block team, and they almost got to him. It's a high kick, sending Jonathan Brady inside the 15. He fields at the 13-yard line, where Indiana will take over 1st and 10. And, Ben, if the Hoosiers can find the end zone again, it feels like this game might be headed in the direction of the visitors.
Look, there's 2 ways to think about it, because obviously if you're Indiana, I mean, it's true, because Oregon just hasn't been able to find anything offensively, any sort of momentum. Now, that doesn't mean we know the potential that the offense has with Dante Moore and the receivers they have to go quickly. They have not let Dante Moore throw the ball downfield today. I don't know if it's Indiana's secondary being so spectacular. Look, it'll be tough.
Ball on the left hash. Indiana at its own 14-yard line. 1st and 10. 14:09 left, fourth quarter. Indiana leading 20-13 here in Autzen Stadium. Mendoza in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, rolling right. He checks it down to his tight end, Riley Nowakowski, who is brought down by Bryce Betcher after a minimal gain, maybe a yard as he got to the 15. But Betcher, the Houston Astros draftee from a year ago, up there to make the stop.
Betcher's a special talent. As he baseball, football, does it all and snuffs out that tight end kind of drag route right there.
So 2nd down and 9, ball on the near side hash at the 15. 13:40 left in regulation. 3 receivers in the formation, 2 to the far side left. E.J. Williams near side right. Roman Hemby is the running back. Mendoza in the shotgun, lifts his leg, takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He keeps it himself, and he fooled everybody. Diving forward up to the 22-yard line. And he was pretty much untouched. Betcher there to get him down, but by that point he had already dived forward. and he started giving himself up at the 22, so they spot it there. It'll be third down and a short 2 yards here.
I thought he got the first. We're a little offset, though, in our broadcast position up here.
Massive moment in this game. If Indiana can keep the chains moving and potentially add on to this 20-13 lead. 2 receivers spread out to the left. Williams again near side to the right. Mendoza lifts his leg, takes the snap, and he fakes the handoff. Pressure coming. He fires over the middle. It's picked off. It's intercepted. Brandon Finney all the way inside the 5 and into the end zone. The true freshman out of Owings Mills, Maryland, who Dan Lanning called mature beyond his years, picks off Fernando Mendoza and takes it all the way back to the house. And we're an extra point away from being tied at 20.
Mendoza hasn't made many mistakes like that this year. He really hasn't. He had a big interception against Iowa in the fourth quarter a couple of weeks ago.
As the extra point is up and good, and we are tied at 20 with 12:42 left in the fourth quarter. And Ben, it was a very similar play. He had pressure in his face. He tried to force a pass over the middle. This time it was to E.J. Williams, and Brandon Finney jumped the route, picked him off, and took it back 35 yards.
It's a bad throw. It's just a bad throw. It's a bad decision. I don't know if I loved Indiana throwing the ball down the field on 3rd and 1 anyway. And it looks even worse when your quarterback gets pressured like that and just severely underthrows his receiver.
Timeout on the field. We'll take it with him. That pick 6 from Brandon Finney, his first career interception. One of the highest touted recruits in the country coming out of his high school class. Dan Lanning talks about it. If you're good enough, you're old enough. He plays the young guys, especially in that secondary, and we just saw why. We'll take a quick break. 12:42 left. Don't go anywhere. We're tied at 20 on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Autzen Stadium is loud after the Brandon Finney 35-yard pick 6 tied us at 20. The Hoosiers will get the ball back. 12:42 left in regulation. The number 3 Oregon Ducks trying to stave off the number 7 Indiana Hoosiers. Both of these teams unbeaten, but only one will remain after this one is done and dusted. Atticus Sappington kicking off. Oregon moving right to left. Indiana will get the ball back. The question is, how do they respond? Sappington's kick is in the air, fading towards the left side. It is into the end zone for a touchback. And Fernando Mendoza brings the Indiana offense back onto the field after that pick 6. He needs a short memory.
He absolutely does. And that's where no Heisman quarterback doesn't make mistakes. No Heisman quarterback doesn't throw interceptions. It's how they respond to those mistakes and those interceptions in a 2020 game like this against a top 5 team in their own place. Rain's coming down here now pretty hard too.
And they say it never rains at Autzen Stadium.
Not true.
Mendoza in the shotgun, Hemby to his right. 2 receivers left, 1 to the near side right. Mendoza lifts his leg and he takes the snap. Hands off to Hemby, reverses field, and he's brought down at about the 28-yard line by Brandon Finney, who just had that pick 6. It looked like as Hemby tried to cut, he slipped.
Finney's slow to get up a little bit. I think he'll be okay. I think it's just a shaking up kind of thing.
And you wonder if that slight rain that we've had on and off throughout the afternoon maybe plays a factor on this turf playing surface here at Autzen. 12:15 left, fourth quarter. Indiana and Oregon tied at 20. Mendoza barking out instructions at his offensive linemen. 4 receivers, all close to the line of scrimmage, 2 on either side. Hemby to Mendoza's left. Mendoza wants the snap. He gets it chest high. Quick pass underneath, caught by Omar Cooper, and he fights forward for the first down. Comes up, pumped up. Jaden Kennedy made contact a couple yards shy of the sticks, but Cooper was able to power past him up to the 36. 1st and 10, Indiana.
Omar Cooper's small, but he's got a motor that just does not stop him. The yards after catch, even when minimal, in a situation like that where it's right in front of the sticks and it gets the first down, are so big.
Ball on the right hash, Indiana at its own 36-yard line. Mendoza in the shotgun, Hemby to his left. 2 receivers spread out to the field side left, 1 near side to the right is E.J. Williams. Mendoza takes the snap, pressure in his face. He checks it down to Hemby, who is tackled immediately right as he makes the catch. And Ben, we talked about in the first half how we didn't say Bryce Betcher's name, but right there, Betcher makes another great tackle. That's only a gain of 3.
Well, we've said his name a lot in the second half, on the contrary. I mean, he's been spectacular, been everywhere. I think there's been some fire lit under him in that locker room by Dan Lanning. He's kind of the leader of that defense, and he's responding.
2nd down and 7. Clock ticking under 11 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. We're tied at 20. Mendoza motions Hemby behind him in the backfield. Lifts his left leg and takes the snap. Hands off to Hemby, running right. He's got a little bit of a crease up past the 40. He falls backwards to the 41, but still 3rd down and long for Indiana. They give him the 42 before Tion Gray was there on the stop. Mateo Uyunglele, the edge rusher, also in there. So 3rd down and 4 from Indiana's own 42-yard line. Mendoza going quickly, takes the snap, looking left. Now he checks it down to Riley Nowakowski, who is brought down short of the sticks by Aaron Flowers, the safety coming up to make the stop.
That's a free play here. We're going to get a legal substitution for Oregon. I think it was Tuioli was not off the field yet in time.
So that was why Indiana went quickly, perhaps. And they got offsides.
Yeah, he was in the Indiana backfield trying to get off the field.
Trying to get toward the sideline. So a wise move there by Indiana to go quickly and snap that ball. Surprised Dan Lanning maybe didn't use a timeout to avoid that penalty.
It is interesting. I mean, this is a game where you really feel like it's going to come down to needing a lot of timeouts in the last play or last drive kind of thing. But
the Oregon fans don't like it. You're not going to see it from the end zone camera. It was off to the side away from the play. You saw it. I did not. So after the penalty, Indiana moves up to its own 47. Clock ticking, 10:15 left in the fourth quarter. We're tied at 20 from Autzen Stadium. Kalen Black is the running back in the game now for Indiana. 3 receivers in the formation as Black motions to Mendoza's right side. Mendoza takes the snap, hands off to Kalen Black, running up the middle. He gets a couple of yards before he is spun around and brought down by Blake Purchase, the edge rusher out of Colorado. He does a little bit of everything. He'll drop into coverage. He'll make plays like that, stopping the run. A short gain of just 1 yard. 2nd down and 9 now for Indiana.
We've seen Purchase make a lot of plays today. I didn't think I expected him to get this much playing time, but he has made an impact. He's really good off that edge.
Ball in the bottom left corner of the Oregon O at midfield. Indiana spreading the field now. 2 receivers spread out to the right, 1 out to the left along the numbers. Mendoza takes the snap, hands off to Kalen Black. He's got a lot of room to run up the middle. Out past the Oregon 45, down to the 44, before Bryce Betcher in there once again to make the stop. So another 3rd down and manageable. Indiana going quickly here. 3rd down and 1. Mendoza in the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. The tailback is Kalen Black, and another false start for Indiana. Ben, they had done a good job, had the Hoosiers, of avoiding those pre-snap penalties here in the second half. But that's the second time in this game we've seen a 3rd and 1 become a 3rd and 6 because of a false start.
It just can't happen. And those are the things that it's so tough in an environment like this. We've seen it happen a lot for Indiana. It especially gets so much more difficult when you try to hurry up and catch the defense off guard. Sometimes you catch your own players at offensive line off guard.
8:58 left, fourth quarter. We're tied at 20. Roman Hemby is the tailback as Indiana breaks huddle now on 3rd and 6 from the Oregon 49. Mendoza in the shotgun, 3 receivers stacked to the right side. Mendoza lifts his left leg, takes a head-high snap. It's a 4-man rush. He checks it down to Elijah Surratt. He's got the first down out past the 40, brought down at the 35 by Brandon Finney. Surratt ran a quick out route right there. Finney playing well off, and Surratt took advantage, hustled up there, and Indiana keeps the chains moving.
So Oregon's made an adjustment. In the second half, they put Brandon Finney on Elijah Surratt. That's why we haven't heard Surratt's name called a lot in this second half. It's the first time Surratt's been able to break it out. We've talked about how great Finney's been this year.
Surratt, 6 receptions for 84 yards. Indiana's leading receiver this afternoon. 1st and 10 from the Oregon 36, 8:15 and counting left in regulation. Mendoza takes the snap, hands off to Roman Hemby running right, trying to find a crease. He powers forward to the 33 before being brought down by a gaggle of Duck defenders. Mateo Uyunglele, DJ's younger brother, the first on the scene.
He's done a little bit more stopping the run today than anything in the backfield with any passes, which is what I've been surprised with.
7:48 left in this fourth quarter. Indiana and Oregon deadlocked at 20 after Brandon Finney's pick 6 on Indiana's last possession. Hoosiers moving the ball well. It's 2nd and 6, ball on the right hash at the 32-yard line. 2 receivers spread out to the left. Charlie Becker, the lone man, on the right side out wide. Mendoza takes the snap, and a flag flies. And guess what, Ben? I think we've got another false start.
This is a receiver this time, I believe.
And this Autzen Stadium crowd's so loud, I couldn't tell who the penalty was on.
They say 32. I don't recall 32 on Indiana's
62.
offense.
I think they got Drew Evans, the left guard.
That would be a second.
And I've lost count at this point, Ben, of how many false starts Indiana has committed in this game. That is Indiana's 8th penalty.
I think it's 5 false starts.
Feels like almost all of them have been pre-snap penalties, too. So now behind the sticks.
It's 6. They just showed it up there because it is a credit to this crowd, and they're going to take credit for it here at Autzen.
2nd and 11, Indiana at the Oregon 37-yard line now. Mendoza brings a man in motion to the near side, takes the snap, screen pass Surratt. Surratt's got blockers. He's out past the 20, 15, forced out of bounds inside the 10 by Dylan Feeneman. And Ben, right there, Indiana using Oregon's aggression to its advantage. Surratt had blockers, and just like that, the penalty yardage is erased. 1st and goal, Indiana from the 8 with a chance to take the lead.
The biggest difference between this game versus the Ohio State game last year and the Notre Dame game last year is when there's been crucial moments like that where Indiana needs to make a play, it's been just those one-play situations where they've been able to break out.
Ball on the right hash. 1st and goal, Indiana from the 8. 2 receivers spread out to the left side. E.J. Williams spread out to the right. Mendoza takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws over the middle, tipped and incomplete. Just a tick behind Omar Cooper. Jaden Kennedy had the coverage. Aaron Flowers back there as well. And I feel like, Ben, if Mendoza hits Cooper in the numbers, that might be a touchdown, but it was also really good coverage.
It might be a touchdown if he hits him in the numbers. There's also a chance he tips that ball. If somebody's back there, there's a chance for an interception there. So I think both teams may be, happy to go back into this play with a 2nd and goal.
Clock stops, 6:33 to go in the 4th after the incompletion. Hoosiers looking to find pay dirt and break the 2020 tie. Mendoza in the gun, 3 receivers in the formation. Hemby is the tailback. Mendoza takes the snap, looking to the left side, now brings his eyes back to the right. Tucks, throws toward the end zone, out of the back of the end zone, and incomplete. As Holden Stays was in the area, the backup tight end, the transfer from Tennessee. But now 2 unfruitful passing plays. That one coming from the pressure from Amari Washington, and now it's 3rd down and goal from the 8-yard line. Surprised that Indiana didn't run the ball on either of those 2 plays.
I am too. I thought that Mendoza could have kept it there and picked up a few. I know you want to be careful, but there's no chance for a completion to the back. You got your 2nd-string tight end, Holden Stays, and 3 defenders around him.
Stays, not a big pass catcher for Indiana, just 4 receptions this season. So Indiana breaking huddle. And Kurt Cignetti wants a timeout.
Yeah.
Right as they broke the huddle, the Hoosiers head coach Cignetti calling timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. But, Ben, if you're Oregon and you can force Indiana to settle for a field goal attempt, then you're in a situation where you get the ball back and you have a chance to go down, score a touchdown, and potentially win the game. So this is a massive 3rd down coming up here.
Keep in mind, Nick, the only points that Oregon's offense has scored in the second half is because they got their drive started in plus territory thanks to a putt from Indiana's own end zone. The only touchdown they have this half is from the pick 6 from Brandon Finney. The offense hasn't had anything in the second half. For how little they had in the first half, it's been even less in the second half. But all it takes is one drive at this point. I mean, for Indiana, you put together a really nice drive and absolutely would love to take the lead no matter what, but you really want 7 here.
Absolutely, and you bring back the Oregon lack of success in this second half. Just 3 offensive points, very little to speak of on that side of the ball. Maybe this is 2 downs for Indiana to find the end zone.
Maybe. Emphasis on a maybe.
Very big maybe.
That'll be an interesting call, though, to see what happens here. I think we'll get an idea of what he wants on what this play is for Indiana. Do they go for the end zone or do they set up for 2 plays?
2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. Hemby is the tailback. Mendoza in the shotgun. Looking at a 4-man front. Now they bring pressure. Mendoza out of his hands quickly to the end zone. Caught by Surratt. Touchdown, Indiana. And the Hoosiers have the lead. Waffle House is always open, Ben. That is his 8th reception of the day. He had a key touchdown catch against Iowa and potentially a huge play in the final 6.5 minutes. The Boo Birds coming down. I think maybe they wanted offensive pass interference.
If Iobadegwu was pleading for a pass interference after that, which I find funny because he has been involved on the 2 big no calls for defensive pass interference in the middle of this ballgame.
Nico Radicic on for the extra point to make it a 27-20 Indiana lead. The kick is up, and it is center cut. The far side referee lost his hat calling that kick good. 6:23 left in this fourth quarter. I wonder, that timeout that Signetti called proving to be huge, perhaps. We will take a quick break here from Autzen Stadium. Gut check time for this Oregon offense. It's been stagnant in the second half so far. Might be do or die for Dante Moore and the Ducks when we come back here on WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports. Back here at Autzen Stadium, 6:23 left in the fourth quarter. A light rain continuing to fall as the Hoosiers have taken a 27-20 lead. Indiana trying to be the first team to win at Autzen Stadium since November 2022 when Washington did it, and become the first team to beat Oregon in a regular season Big Ten Conference game. Elijah Surratt, an 8-yard touchdown reception from Fernando Mendoza on 3rd and goal is the difference right now. Brendan Franke, the Indiana kickoff specialist, sends it through the back of the end zone once again. A touchback, and Dante Moore in this Oregon offense taking over 1st and 10 from their own 25. Ben Haller, Oregon has been stagnant offensively in this second half. The only touchdown was a pick 6 from Brandon Finney, the Oregon corner.
Only touchdown was a pick 6. The only field goal was because they got the drive started in plus territory. I mean, all it takes is one drive to tie this thing up, but I'll tell you what, I don't know what their answer is. They have to start letting Dante Moore throw the ball downfield.
Oregon, 45 total yards in this second half to Indiana's 145. Ball on the left hash at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for Oregon. Noah Whittington is the setback to Dante Moore's right side. Moore takes the snap, tries to roll out. He's got pressure, and he goes down in the backfield. Mario Landino and Aiden Fisher.
We're going to have an illegal motion offense too, and I think
Indiana's going to decline the penalty. The flag came in from the far side official.
Well, so I believe what happened was there was some motion from their running back, and Noah Whittington, I think he was coming toward the line of scrimmage. You can't be coming towards the line of the scrimmage when the ball is snapped. That's what the illegal motion is.
So it's 2nd down and 14, clock ticking. 6:15 left in this fourth quarter. Oregon behind the chains. Ball on the 21-yard line of the Ducks. 3 receivers spread out wide. Whittington, the setback, to the left side of Dante Moore. 5-man rush. Moore fakes the handoff. Ball's in the air, and it's intercepted! Lewis Moore! His 4th pick of the year! A tip drill! And Indiana will take over inside Oregon territory with a chance to go up 2 scores. The Hoosiers got pressure on Dante Moore once again. Oregon had only allowed 1 sack this season. Indiana's got 4 in the game, had chance for a 5th right there. Instead, the ball was batted at the line of scrimmage. Lewis Moore camped under it like a center fielder, pulled it down, and here come the Boo Birds.
Speechless. I mean, the game is far from over. You gotta get some points here. But, man, you take some time on this drive. You might see some timeouts start coming from Oregon. I mean, Indiana's in a great spot right now. 4 interceptions in 6 weeks of football for Lewis Moore since he came back to Bloomington from Ole Miss.
So Fernando Mendoza and Indiana take over at the Oregon 33, and another pre-snap flag in the backfield. And Ben Haller, it's going to be another Indiana false start.
Yeah.
8 penalties in this game for Indiana. And I feel like 6 or 7 of them have been false starts.
Usually you can't shoot yourself in the foot this much at the number 3 Oregon's place in one of the toughest places to play and come out with a win. I don't know. That's 7 pre-snap penalties today.
Wow. So 1st and 15, Indiana backed up to the Oregon 37. Hemby the setback to Mendoza's right side. Mendoza takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He fooled everybody again. Out past the 30, forced out of bounds at the 29. Brandon Finney, there to make the stop, but Mendoza gets the penalty yardage back and then gains a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 7 now.
Oregon has not figured it out once. I think it's 3 fakes now or options, I want to say, where Mendoza kept it. They didn't let Mendoza option a lot in tough places like Iowa early this year, or let Rourke option last year in tough places.
So now 2nd and 7, 5.5 to play. Indiana leading by 7, trying to add to it. Mendoza takes the snap, hands off to Hemby, running right behind his blockers. He's out to the 26 before his forward progress is stopped. Tatum Tuioti there to make the tackle. And Indiana set up now 3rd down and manageable, it feels like.
It's a big first down here. I mean, it's 3rd and 4, and you're going to let the clock keep ticking. This is still somewhat of a longer field goal. I know Frankie drilled it. That's going to be the interesting decision is what is the line where you bring Frankie out versus you bring Radicic out? They both made a field goal today.
Ideally, you get a first down. 4:50 left in regulation. Hoosiers looking for a massive first down here on 3rd and 4 from the Oregon 26. Mendoza in the gun, lifts his left leg. The snap is back. Mendoza's got time. He fires over the top. It's caught by Riley Nowakowski. Tackled about a yard shy of the sticks by Aaron Flowers, the safety. And we'll see what Curt Cignetti wants to do.
Man, I don't know if you cannot come up with points on this play.
I think they gave Nowakowski the first down.
Oh, did they? I didn't think so. I didn't think he got it.
They gave it to him.
They gave it to him, yeah.
They gave it to him on forward progress before he was forced backwards. It looked like he was short, Ben.
We're going to see this thing reviewed, though.
I think they're going to review it. I did not think he got to the line to gain.
Again, we're in a tough spot, but we're pretty close to that first down marker where we are. Yeah, our spotters telling us, or our studio host Dylan Beach telling us on the TV it's short.
The referees have stopped the game to review this, and Ben, I expect that this review will be pretty quick because it looked like Nowakowski was about a yard shy of the sticks. I was very surprised that they gave him the spot.
So now, assuming that he is short, oh man, this is as tough as it gets for a head coach.
4th and 1. I think the obvious answer is you take the points to go up 2 scores.
It is, but the question is like 4th and 1 versus like 4th and inches. Like
I think you have to kick it. This should be a no-brainer. Kick the field goal, go up 10 points. If indeed the ruling that we think will be made is made, and Nowakowski is marked short.
I agree with you, Nick.
I'm surprised that this review is taking this long because I thought it would be more decisive.
To overturn it always takes longer, but it definitely will at some point be.
And here comes the call from our head referee. They upheld it, and Indiana gets the first down. Wow.
Oh my
The
gosh. Broadcast
footage, per our studio host Dylan Beach, said that Nowakowski was short, but Indiana a potentially game-changing first down. First and 10, 4:12 in regulation remaining. Indiana leading 27-20. Ben, you think about that egregious no call on a pass interference earlier in the game. It always comes back around, doesn't it? A chance for Indiana to find the end zone and go up by double digits. Mendoza in the shotgun. Hemby is the setback. Mendoza takes the snap, hands off to Hemby, straight up the middle. He's got plenty of room to run. Out to the 16-yard line before Dylan Thiedemann, the safety, comes up to make the stop. And Dan Lanning, the Oregon head coach, wants a timeout. It's the first of the second half.
They're going to start coming, and this is where it gets interesting. They're not going to have any timeouts, and if Indiana could just punch a field goal through, you are going to get in a situation where maybe a little over 3 minutes to go, assuming, which obviously you don't want to assume, but let's just say for a second Indiana does not get the first, they kick a field goal, it's good. You have about 3 minutes to go, you're down 2 scores with no timeouts, that's tough.
It would be score onside kick for Oregon.
Right.
The thing I want to bring up is at this juncture in the game, 3:49 left in regulation, Indiana with the ball in the red zone, leading by 7, against one of college football's best teams in one of the hardest places to play in the country. This alone is uncharted territory for Curt Cignetti here in Bloomington. Well, we're in Eugene, Oregon, but in Bloomington. Indiana at Ohio State and Notre Dame last year was really never in it, save for really early on. But man, that paradigm has shifted quickly after the first of 3 Oregon timeouts. Hoosiers have the ball between the hashes at the Oregon 16-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 4. 3:49 left. So you've effectively got 3 timeouts if you're Oregon, 2 plus the 2-minute timeout. Indiana breaking huddle. One receiver split out wide to the right. Surratt close to the line of scrimmage on the left side. Hemby is the setback, and Mendoza takes the snap. Hands off to Hemby, who's got the first down, falling forward nearly to the 10. Indiana getting so much push up front, and Hemby, who's got 2 rushing touchdowns today, continuing to gash this Oregon front four.
Nick, that push just simply wasn't there in the first half and kind of the middle of this ball game. I think it's just wearing the defense down. Indiana's kind of just won the battle of, stamina.
First down and 10 from the Oregon 11. Some Duck fans clad in yellow are heading for the exits early here at Autzen. 3:10 remaining. Mendoza in the shotgun as the Hoosiers break huddle. He takes the snap, hands to Hemby again. This time he is met in the backfield, maybe falling back to the line of scrimmage. Tatum Tuioti in there to make the stop, and Dan Lanning calls his second timeout with exactly 3 minutes left in this fourth quarter.
This is just a game of time at this point. I mean, this is the second timeout for Oregon. They have one left. Let's go Hoosier chants getting in one of the loudest places to play in college football that happens to be on the opposite coast of where you are for a program that hasn't won a bowl game since 1991.
And Ben, I want to take you back to 2004. That was the last time Indiana visited Autzen Stadium. The Hoosiers won that game 30-24 despite being outgained by 300 yards. They forced 7 turnovers. That was in a Jerry DiNardo-led season where Indiana only won 3 games, but 2 of them were against ranked teams. That was a down year for Oregon, a down year for both teams, although Indiana football has had many down years. Oregon, this is a team that won the Big Ten in its first year in the conference, didn't so much rebuild as much as reload with the loss of 10, 11 guys to the NFL draft, including, of course, the quarterback Dylan Gabriel. And Indiana has come in here and not just hung tough, but put itself in a position to win the game and emerge as one of the nation's undisputed best teams.
You want to set up the win as much as you can. I mean, there's so many special storylines about this game in particular. The one thing, it is still a one-possession game, and you're still relying on a field goal unit that not necessarily hasn't been good. It just hasn't been used a lot this year.
Or last year.
And you're looking at Niko Radicic at this point in time. It's still a one-possession game, and there's still a decent amount of time left. This game's not over, but, I mean, if things hold.
Oregon fans are heading for the exits. I think they can start to see the writing on the wall. This is a team that just doesn't lose at home.
Yeah. They're not used to it. I mean, they're especially not used to losing to Indiana, and they're especially not used to losing to Indiana at home.
Well, you think about the last time Oregon lost at Autzen, November 2022. Former Indiana quarterback Michael Penix led that Huskies offense, and who was the head coach? Former Indiana offensive coordinator Kalen DeBoer. Right. So maybe not used to losing to Indiana as the team, but definitely some pieces in the past. And these Oregon fans, as passionate as any you'll find in college football, if they're going to the exits, then that is a bad sign for the Ducks. After the timeout, it'll be second down and a short 11, we'll call it. The ball just past the 12-yard line. Indiana needs to get to the 1. So really, this is effectively a goal-to-go situation. Indiana leading 27-20. With 3 minutes left, Oregon down to 1 timeout. Dan Lanning trying to keep as much time on the clock as he can for Dante Moore in this Oregon offense. Indiana huddling after the break. Head referee Jeff Cervinski says, hey, guys, let's get moving.
Yeah, they let him know the play clock, I don't think, is exactly where they thought it was.
Play clock at 25, now ticking down to 20 as Indiana breaks the huddle. Elijah Surratt spread wide to the left. E.J. Williams wide to the right. Roman Hemby, the tailback, to the right side of Fernando Mendoza. He takes the snap, handoff to Hemby. Running along the hash marks, he's brought down at the 9. So a gain of a couple. And it'll be third down and long. Tatum Tuioti picks up another tackle.
He's been a bright side for today for Oregon. Under
3 minutes left, 2:55 as the clock stops, and Dan Lanning calls Oregon's final timeout. Of course, you got the 2-minute, or actually I think that was Kurt Signetti. I think Signetti called that timeout because the referee motioned toward Indiana.
Scoreboard, they say Oregon.
I thought I saw the referee motion toward Indiana, but we'll see. Our official stats say timeout Oregon, so indeed the Ducks have called their final timeout. The clock stops with a 2-minute, but that's it for the Ducks at this juncture in the game. The student section is still full. The rain shower has stopped. It did rain earlier in this game.
It's rained a majority. I mean, it's just been that Oregon gray, just kind of lightly raining, 40, 50 degrees all game.
So 3rd down and 8. Indiana at the Oregon 9-yard line. 2:55 left in this fourth quarter. Hoosiers up 7, looking to score again and perhaps cement one of the biggest wins in college football this year, and certainly the biggest win in Indiana program history. Hoosiers breaking huddle. Everybody tight to the line of scrimmage. 3 wide receivers in the formation, but nobody spread out. Mendoza lifts his left leg, takes the snap, hands off to Roman Hemby. He gets inside the 5, down to about the 4 as he stumbles forward. Mateo Uyunglele there to meet him in the gap. And 4th down and 3 from the 4-yard line. Indiana's field goal unit is not coming onto the field here. The clock continuing to tick.
I think they're going to, if they can. No, I don't think they can take it down to the 2-minute timeout. I don't know what's going on.
Curt Cignetti is
going to call a
talking
timeout at some point
to the head referee. The clock is running. 2:20 and counting. The play clock is at 10, so Indiana does have to run a play unless Cignetti calls timeout.
The field goal unit doesn't look ready.
Well, Cignetti, I believe, is going to call a timeout with 1 second on the play clock, and that is what he does. That is Indiana's second timeout. It comes with 2:09 left in the fourth quarter. And we will keep it here. That is Indiana's second timeout. So the Hoosiers have 1 timeout remaining. Oregon is out of timeouts.
It's a give and take. It makes no sense to go for this here because the difference between being up by 10 and being up by 14 right now is just not really that big of a difference. And the difference between being up by 10 and being up by 7 is huge.
And you consider that in this second half, Oregon has gained 41 total yards. The Ducks had 203 in the first half. Indiana outgaining Oregon in the second half, 178-41. In this fourth quarter, Oregon has -8 total yards. So if you're Indiana, you absolutely have to kick it. And indeed, coming out of the timeout, that is exactly what the Hoosiers will do. Niko Radicic lining up between the hashes. The holder is Mitch McCarthy, and he will set up at the 17. So this is a 27-yard field goal with 2:09 left in the fourth quarter as Indiana looks to go up by 2 possessions. Radicic, sure-footed in Iowa last week, ice in his veins then. Let's see if he can do it again. Mark Langston, the snapper, sends it back. The hold is down. The kick is on the way, and it is good. And Indiana goes up by 10 with 2:06 remaining in the fourth quarter. And now more Duck fans matriculating toward the exits here at Autzen Stadium. Ben Haller, I do not believe my eyes, but Indiana football is on the verge of picking up just its second ever win in 74 games against an AP top 5 opponent.
Dan Lanning's got no timeouts. And Nick Saban's tree, Curt Cignetti, has outcoached Dan Lanning today. After just 2 weeks ago, everybody was on the Dan Lanning train for good reason. One of the best coaches in all of college football. There were so many doubters on Curt Cignetti in Indiana. No matter how many wins, no matter how big the margin of victory. And to this point, with 2:06 to go, Curt Cignetti's outcoached Dan Lanning.
The Duck fans now heading to the exits in droves as Brendan Franke gets set to kick it off left to right. Franke drives his right leg into the ball. It's high end over end and landing just beyond the O in Oregon. It goes through the back of the end zone. So Oregon will run one play and then we'll hit the 2-minute timeout. But at this point, Dante Moore has led this offense to a grand total of -8 yards in this fourth quarter, and he's somehow tasked with scoring 10 points in 2:06.
Obviously, an onside kick's going to have to be involved. Doing this without any timeouts, the first time is going to be tough, but doing it twice with no timeouts, that's where this really gets difficult. The 2-minute timeout definitely helps.
Indiana outgaining Oregon by 99 yards in this game. Moore in the shotgun on 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. He throws underneath, and it's picked off again. Isaiah Jones makes the play. And that's going to ice it. It's so fitting Isaiah Jones, a couple of key plays in this game, a sack of Dante Moore. He picks off Dante Moore, the second interception that Moore has thrown today. And Oregon doesn't even get a chance at an improbable comeback. 2:01 on the clock. Indiana's got the ball. And Ben, the Hoosiers are set up for their biggest win in program history this afternoon. Unbelievable.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Isaiah Jones to make that play. I'll tell you what. We talked. There's so many parts of this Indiana team to praise for this game today. They're going to go in victory formation here. They'll have to stop it a second later. This is going to be an awkward media timeout.
Yeah, everybody knows what's coming. The Duck fans are leaving. Isaiah Jones, one of the last holdovers from the Tom Allen era in Bloomington, finally getting his chance to shine. Jones, Aiden Fisher called him phenomenal. Jones showed flashes in the past, but as a redshirt junior, he's older, he's wiser, said Curt Cignetti. He's stronger, he's bigger, and he's finally shining for the Cream and Crimson. Most guys, when a coach gets fired, they enter the portal and they don't think about coming back. Yeah. Isaiah Jones was one of a few to stick around and buy in to Curt Cignetti's vision. It is so fitting that he is the one to make the game-sealing interception for Indiana to become the first team to beat Oregon at Autzen Stadium in nearly 3 years, and the first team ever to beat Oregon in a regular season Big Ten Conference game. So fitting for him.
The front seven overall, it's one of the best in the country, and we knew that coming in, but I think just the way they solidified it today, Mikhail Kamara being that leader, but in a way taking a back seat and letting guys like Mario Landino and, Isaiah Jones step up. And look, what made this defense so special, and this is not anything we figured out in the first 6 weeks. It's what we knew coming into the year. You have an All-American caliber player at every level. You have Mikhail Kamara on the defensive line. You have Aiden Fisher as your middle linebacker. You have D'Angelo Pons as one of the best cornerbacks in the country. I just think the leadership qualities of this team, it's top to bottom. I think it's the Curt Cignetti effect. I think, it's so much Curt Cignetti. It's also, I truly believe, Indiana might have the best set of coordinators in the country. Bryant Haynes and Mike Shanahan and what they've done this year. I mean, this is an outstanding game called by Bryant Haynes defensively. And Mike Shanahan put together a couple of really nice drives, too. Maybe that's the one negative from this game and from this season for Indiana is I don't know if you're keeping those coordinators for much longer.
Good luck. Good luck. I mean, I know Indiana's got deep pockets. I know it as well as anyone, but you're going to have to pony up to the nth power. And now you see why Indiana fought so hard to keep Bryant Haynes. He was getting Power 4 head coaching offers.
And I'll preface this by saying we're not saying they're going to leave for another coordinator spot.
Right.
They're going to get head coaching spots soon. So that's not a negative connotation by any means for Indiana.
Right.
That's what Curt Cignetti wants for his coordinators. But Indiana will kneel again here. No timeouts for Oregon. This is it.
2 minutes left. Indiana leading 30-20 after the Isaiah Jones interception. The Hoosiers have the ball. Second down and 12 at the Oregon 29-yard line. Oregon cannot stop the clock. The Ducks are out of timeouts. And Indiana will line up in the victory formation. Mendoza under center, takes the snap, backpedals, and takes a knee.
This is fun. We had the issues with this against Iowa a couple of weeks ago. Is do they blow it dead right away? I think there were some mistakes officiating-wise in that Oregon game with the kneels.
And you hear the Let's Go Hoosiers chants ringing out below our broadcast position to our left. Curt Cignetti, I think, is explaining to the officials what Fernando Mendoza is going to do. Indiana will, I believe, run this clock all the way down to 1 second on the play clock and then call a timeout. Game clock is at 1:30 and ticking, play clock at 10 seconds. Cignetti looking toward the play clock, and he will call Indiana's final timeout. And there it is with 1:17 on the clock. It'll be third down and 17, but effectively Indiana has to kneel one more time, and then Fernando Mendoza just runs backward and the game is over.
Yeah, timing gets interesting here. I think you think you might give the ball back to Oregon, but again, they'll have like one play down by 2 possessions. So.
There's no 10-point score in football, so
no, there's not.
For all intents and purposes, it does not matter. But Ben, I want to throw some numbers at you here after the clock hits 0. Suffice it to say, this is undoubtedly the biggest win in IU football history. We talked about it before the game. Not the biggest game in IU football history, because that goes to the Notre Dame CFP game last year, just because it's a playoff game. This will be the biggest win in the history of college football's perennial doormat no more, Indiana football.
Well, it's also going to be, we're halfway through the season, about the halfway point, so 5, 6, or 7 for some teams. Look, this is also the biggest win any team has in college football this year. On the road at number 3 Oregon. It might have belonged to Oregon after the win at Penn State until the UCLA loss.
Mendoza back under center, walking backwards. He takes a knee just shy of the 40. So it'll be 4th down and a country mile, but it really doesn't matter. Oregon fans matriculating out in droves. 107 and counting left. Indiana's going to wait as long as possible, and then, actually, what do you do here? Because if you run backwards and you get tackled, Oregon can score.
Yeah, you don't run backwards.
Mendoza running toward the sideline now. Signetti yells at him to go back toward the huddle. I wonder if he's going to...
This is a punt situation, I thought. I don't know.
Maybe a little quick kick for Mendoza. I don't know.
that'd be something.
8 seconds on the play clock. Indiana in victory formation again on 4th and 22 from the Oregon 39 with 36 seconds left and leading by 10. Mendoza gives himself up just shy of the 45 with 32 seconds left. So it is a turnover on downs. And Oregon will get the ball back, but, what do you even do if you're Oregon? You know you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, you do what you can. You draw
play for
some big
pride.
Passing play.
Yeah, you play for pride.
Keep in mind, if they could get a touchdown here, that margin of victory has been a factor in college football playoff.
Yeah.
If you make it, seeding, all that kind of good stuff.
We'll worry about the housekeeping when we get there. Oregon takes over. 1st and 10 from its own 44-yard line. 32 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Indiana leading 30-20. This is, by all accounts, a formality at this point. Indiana will drop 9 guys into coverage. Dante Moore takes the snap, a 3-man rush. He throws toward the boundary. It's caught by Gary Bryant Jr. out of bounds at the 47-yard line. 28 seconds left. The clock stops. Neither team has any timeouts. And Indiana, again, will drop 9 guys into coverage. 2nd down and 7. Moore in the shotgun, 4 receivers, 3 to the field side left, 1 to the right. Moore takes the snap, drops back, throws toward the boundary. He checks it down. It's caught by his running back, Noah Whittington, who backpedals out of bounds near the sticks.
It doesn't really matter, but Whittington was right at the sticks and somehow missed it.
He did not reach the ball forward. He backpedaled out of bounds 1 yard shy. So Oregon now with the ball at the Indiana 47, 3rd and maybe half a yard. 23 seconds left as Oregon tries to postpone the inevitable. Moore takes the snap, 3-man rush once again, and again he throws toward the boundary. This time it's incomplete. He was looking once again for Noah Whittington. Looks like it was the exact same play. And so 4th and 1 from Indiana's 47-yard line.
Yeah, Oregon doesn't have a real sense of urgency
No,
here.
and why would you?
It's mathematically possible, but it...
Short of a Herculean act, I don't know that anything beyond the expected at this point will happen. 4th and 1, Moore takes the snap, throws underneath, and Oregon's got the 1st down as the catch is made by Kenyon Sadiq, who, despite all of his athleticism, has not had his name called at all today. 1st down with 11 seconds left, Oregon at the Indiana 39. And at this point, you're just playing so that nobody can say that you gave up. Clock is running, 9 seconds left. Moore takes the snap, looking deep. He's got to let his receivers get down there. Checks it down to Whittington. 3 seconds left. He sprints out of bounds with 2 on the clock. Now there's almost as much IU cream and crimson in the stands as there is green and yellow for Oregon. This will be the final play of the game. Indiana will win this game. And Dante Moore is going to take one more snap. But you got to wonder what's going through his head right now. Oregon clearly has a lot to iron out. Moore in the gun, 4 receivers spread out wide. The clock is ticking. This will be the final play. Moore stepping up. He's near the line of scrimmage, rolling toward the 35. He fires to the end zone. It's a jump ball, and it is caught and dropped by Kenyon Sadiq and this game is over. Indiana football had lost 46 consecutive games against AP top 5 opponents. It was the longest streak in the nation. 1-72 all time, but history is irrelevant in Curt Cignetti's Indiana football. The Hoosiers come into Autzen Stadium, one of the toughest places in the nation for any team to play, and beat the Oregon Ducks 30-20 is your final. Oregon fans are stunned. You can hear the IU fans celebrating with the players down below to our left. Ben Haller, we talked about it off the air before the game. This could be a UCLA-type game where Indiana goes in to a road environment on the West Coast and takes over. And, well, it wasn't pretty in the first half, but the Hoosiers pulled away in the second half and came away with a 10-point win. They will be one of the nation's top 3 teams on Sunday afternoon.
Curt Cignetti got a signature win. I mean, they've been asking for it. They said Indiana hasn't beat anybody, and there probably will be people talking about how Oregon's not as good as they think they were, or they thought they were. That'll probably be the top headline, but that does not matter for Curt Cignetti and his team. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, right? I think before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, it's a culture changer. We talked about the UCLA game. I think that was one of the first culture changers of like, okay, this is a top Big Ten team, one of the best Big Ten teams. There's a lot of those games last year. This win shows you're not just one of the top 10 Big Ten teams, you're one of the top teams in the country. Indiana is one of the best football teams in the country, which is kind of absurd to talk about. We've gone through so much of the history. What this sets up now for Indiana, look, you are in line. They probably, it's a long way down the road, probably will be favored in the game at Penn State in-state college, which again, it's another kind of crazy thing to say. They'll probably be favored in every game the rest of the year until a loss happens. There are still some competitive games on Indiana's schedule, but you have Michigan State and Wisconsin are 2 of your home games left. UCLA's looked really good the last 2 weeks. They still went 0-4 and fired their coach. So you're in line to have a potentially undefeated regular season, and it's not crazy to say. You're going to be favored in all those games, which could lead to a Big Ten championship appearance, which could lead to, even potentially with the loss of the Big Ten championship, a bye in the college football playoff, at worst a home game in the first round of the college football playoff. Could you imagine that, Nick?
Oh,
a home college football playoff game at Memorial Stadium at Bloomington. Bloomington would lose its mind. I don't know if Mendoza did enough to put Heisman front runner. He's right there.
Well, I will
Dante
tell you,
Moore knocked himself out of it.
I will tell you, Fernando Mendoza, knowing him, the Heisman is the last thing on his mind.
Absolutely.
The last thing on his mind. And I want to flip to Oregon for a second. The Ducks have gone from a consensus top 5 team to having a ton of question marks because their best win was against Penn State. Penn State, of course, lost to UCLA, unranked. You could get into Beaver Stadium for $9 today. Oregon, now the resume is what? A win over a terrible Penn State team and one of the first losses at Autzen Stadium under Dan Lanning, the first since his first season in Eugene. There is a ton for Oregon to iron out. Curt Cignetti, being interviewed right now, will undoubtedly lead a Go IU chant with the IU fans downstairs to our left. And Ben Haller, I will put my hand up because I think it is worth mentioning that earlier this week I started a very lively discussion about how Indiana was outmatched just strictly on size in the trenches. Bryant Haynes, Indiana's defensive coordinator, quote tweeted me and said, "Didn't realize how small and defenseless we're going to be. Oh no." And it's clear that he had a phenomenal game plan for Indiana. I want to throw a number at you real quick. Indiana held Oregon to 64 total yards in the second half, most of which came in garbage time. You take out that drive that Oregon led to, try to, I guess, score and have a miracle comeback. Oregon barely gained any yards in the fourth quarter. Yeah. So I'd say that...
And they only did so because of that fourth quarter kind of...
Yeah, it just fluky, garbage time, low leverage, does not mean anything kind of situation. So Bryant Haynes taking what I said for bulletin board material, and, well, that's why they pay him a ton of money, and that's why he's going to get Power 4 head coaching offers this offseason. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just think that you break down the game and you see how Indiana could win this game coming in, but you take the larger scope and just see the implications of Indiana coming in and beating a number 3 Oregon team on the road. You break down the fourth wall a little bit. Obviously, we're unbiased journalists here on WIUX, but we are Indiana students, and just this happens to be the year we're seniors.
Yes.
Is this best? I don't think it's been 6 weeks. Again, you hate to get too ahead of yourselves, but with the best win in Indiana history, feels like this is probably the best football team in Indiana history.
No question.
And
no question.
I just fortunate to get the opportunities to get paid or to have a trip paid for out to come to Eugene, Oregon, and go to such a great school like the media school at Indiana University and get to call games like this is truly spectacular.
Yeah, and I am likewise very grateful and humbled for the opportunity for the media school to send so many student media members from Bloomington. We drove up to O'Hare, we flew to Portland, we took a train, we were doing planes, trains, and automobiles, but we were able to get here because of the media school being so gracious and giving us this opportunity. And, well, whatever happens on the field is out of our control, but we were treated to one of the craziest games in college football this season, Indiana's best win ever. And I just want to thank the entire media school, everybody who made this trip happen. And it's going to be a long night on Sunday night because we're taking a red eye back to the Midwest, but it is going to feel... There's a sense of pride, I think, in our university being represented on these stages and showing what IU football can be. Because, I mean, our freshman year, this team was a laughingstock. Our sophomore year, even more so. Kurt Cignetti comes in, and within a year and a half, 2 years basically since he was hired, this is the result. A 30-20 upset win over number 3 Oregon. Indiana beating the Ducks for the second time in as many meetings, if you go back to 2004. And I am thrilled that we had the opportunity to call this game. So for one final time from Autzen Stadium, Indiana 30, Oregon 20. For Ben Howler, our studio host Dylan Beach, I'm Nick Rodecap saying so long from Eugene. You've been listening to WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports.